Well, hello, all you beautiful people out there listening, and those who aren't listening, we hope you start listening. And welcome to the XP Podcast, episode 5 for Tuesday, March 29th. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Mikey Z, and joining me, my co host, the winner of Mr. Congeniality 2018, the Birdman himself, Logan B. What's up, my man?
What's up, everybody? A week of very interesting movies and more grinding of Elden Ring.
A movie week
Back
for
to
you, huh?
you. Yeah.
A movie week for you, huh? That's interesting. No movies today for me. Well, no, I guess that's not technically a movie. So, tried a new energy drink. Continuation of last week's. It was it was awful. It was terrible. So now I went back to Celsius. So got my Celsius,
Okay. All right.
got my Celsius still going on. Um, said someone's phone just went off. I rolled.
That was mine. Sorry about that.
You're good. I rolled credits on a game, so I'll be talking about that shortly. Started another game with the misses that hopefully Logan's still playing. We're still planning on playing, but we're planning on doing an episode on said game. But we will talk about that shortly. So, but I think that's all I got. Oh, yeah, no, never mind. Sorry. Before we get into the episode, we like to do questions here, right? Well, I have two things for you. First question is a would you rather question, and we can sit down and talk about it. It said, would you rather play only long/endless games or play only games that are less than 20 hours? I turn this to you, Mr. Birdman, first.
Um, that's a hard one. I would say
Not that
if I
hard for
had to
me.
choose. Well, yeah, I already know your choice. Um, I think both have their equal thing where I both enjoy them. Like I like long endless games, especially. Well, the issue is if the long endless game has enough that it keeps adding and making me want to keep coming back and play more, or do I want to play a game that's just 20 hours and that? So in my opinion, I would probably do just less than 20 hours because most games that are long/endless at a certain point they run out of new things to give to you to the point where I feel like the game stops being fun. So I would personally rather play a less than 20-hour game than push myself to play a game that's endless or a very long game and they're not adding anything like they're going to run out of content to keep me interested.
Pretty much just
So,
not Avengers.
yeah. But yeah, I would say less than 20 hour. I would rather.
Yeah, I mean, mine's less than 20 hours just because those are the type of games that I play. But there is a negative to that. In the modern day, even single player games are getting longer. I mean, The Last of Us Part 2 is over 20 hours, significantly. God of War, over 20 hours, significantly. I think one of the only modern day AAA single player stories that's games that Sony's produced that's under 20 hours in recent memory has been Uncharted 4. And that was at like 16, 17, so even that was getting close. Um, but I will say that I think a great 20-hour game can be better or is better for myself than a great 40 or 50 or 60-hour game. Even though they are both great games, I think I probably enjoy that under 20-hour game more because I can get in, get out, get the story that I want as long as it's, really good. But I guess we're talking about great games, so of course it's going to be good. Get that story that I want and get out and move on to something else. So, for
But
purpose of the question, I would say less than 20 hours long. But I
yeah,
don't.
some games like I like it to be long. Like for example, Elden Ring. I'll talk about that later, but that's one of those games I've been enjoying because there's constantly something new and new things to find and stuff, and that's a long game, and I'm enjoying it. I love how long it is, but not all games are like that. And there are some games that literally just add cushion, like a certain game called Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that literally just puts cushion in there and doesn't really add anything interesting, and they make you play a long game just because they want it to be a long game, not because it needs to be a long game.
Yeah, and then there's things like or Skyrim. You can play as many hours as you want, do as many different playthroughs as you want. But now, okay. So is this saying that if you play a game, is this like the story? So is only under 20 hours. So I can play Uncharted 4 as many times as I want. Or I can only play it once and then have to move on. What do you think?
Sorry, what'd you say again?
Oh my
Sorry,
god.
I know I had a
Captain
little
Zone out.
bit.
I
You're
said,
talking.
is it like a one and done type thing? Like once you hit that 20-hour mark, you have to stop playing that game. So like Uncharted 4, I can only play it once, or can I play through it multiple times because it is under 20 hours? Or is it like a gameplay cutoff at 20? What are we gonna go with here? Because if it's I can replay games all the time, then yeah, it's an easy 20. But if it's I can only play them once or hit the 20-hour mark, then I might actually change my answer.
I mean, I would say I'm kind of confused by the second thing you're saying, but I guess I would say more just like, um, I would say yeah, like I mean, the game you'd beat in like 20 hours or less, and then you can replay it if you want.
Okay, well that's what I was saying. Like, is there a hard cutoff? Like, once I play a game for 20 hours, do I have to stop playing it? So like Uncharted 4,
Oh,
that
okay.
that's what I was saying. Because if that's the case, then I'm gonna go with long games. Because like yeah, it sucks that I lose out on some of the best narrative-driven games, but I can play Skyrim as many times as I want. But yeah, if I can replay these stories endlessly, then yeah, I'm
Well,
fine
I
with
guess
that.
it also sparks a thing where what we mean by long and endless games. Because like I like multiplayer games. I like Call of Duty, not all of them, but a good few of them. And like for example, with Cold War, I put like what was it, almost 300 hours into just playing that zombies mode. If I only was like, if I could only hit 20 hours and it said you can't play this anymore, yeah, that would suck a lot. So that does kind of, if we're going to go that far, then yeah. But I
Oh
was
no, I
thinking
was asking
more
you, so I don't know.
if the game is a 20-hour game and then that's just when it ends kind of thing,
Yeah.
that's what it was built to do. I would rather that than a game that is built to be long but not in a good way. So I guess there's more games out there in my opinion that are built to be longer, that aren't built to be long for a good reason. Like for example, Persona 5, that game has a good reason to be a long game. It's all about what time you take and all the
Yeah, know my friends and family.
storytelling, and there is a bunch of new stuff they add throughout the game. That game's a good example of being a long game for a reason. But other games, what?
uh, I went to pause a video on because I have the news stories pulled up. I went to pause the video and it started playing for some reason. So there was like a 0.5% sorry, a 0.5 second clip of just random people talking on
No,
on this episode. Woo! Everything works out so well here. Go on.
but
Sorry.
no, you're fine. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Actually, you know what? Honestly, I'd rather play only long slash endless games if we're gonna go off of the fact of what you said, where literally if a game was built to be long, but you can only play it for 20 hours, I would almost rather long slash endless just because of that reason.
No, that
But if we're not gonna go down that path, then and we're saying the games are only built to be 20 hours, then yes, I would rather that.
yeah, I think we can go with that because you can still play like your Call of Duty narratives or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, can't play any multiplayer versions of those, but you can play the single player content.
yeah, I'd
All
be
right,
down for that.
so I'm gonna stick with 20 hours, even though I uh I love both games. There are certain games that I don't like that are that long. We've already said it, Valhalla, but I overall like shorter games with more tighter narratives better than a longer game with a more sprawling narrative. Now, Persona is the gotcha there because it's said 120 hours that I think has a better narrative than most 20-hour games do. All right. Anyway, next thing we're gonna go do something special. Logan, are you good at riddles?
I am horrible at
Okay.
riddles.
Well, I'm gonna give you a couple hints then here and there because I'm also terrible at riddles, and it took me forever to figure this one out, and I wanted to try to figure it out. Spoiler alert: I did not. Um.
No.
So, What connects two people but is worn by one? And I will give you a hint that the object that is worn is a physical object.
Wait, it's one by one?
Worn, like
Oh,
have them on.
worn.
Yeah. And I will tell you that it's a physical object. It's not some kind of spiritual worn. Excuse me.
Okay. Handcuffs?
That's a good answer. I never thought about it. No. That's a way better answer than any of the ones that I came up with.
Let's see.
Okay, I will give you another hint. The thing that
Okay.
connects them is spiritual.
Whoa, I'm confused now. So it can be worn, but it is spiritual.
No,
Like it's
okay.
a physical object
No.
that's spiritual?
The thing that connects them is spiritual. The object that is worn is physical.
That is a cover.
Is that spiritual?
I mean, you said it's worn, and it's like a spiritual connection.
A cover is a spiritual connection?
Well, you're saying it's a physical object that you wear. But
Yeah.
it has a spiritual connection.
Only one of the people wears it.
Oh.
Yeah, what connects two people but is worn by one? Let me give you another minute to figure it out. Then I'm gonna give you the answer, just so we can move on.
Do you have another hint?
Another hint. Okay, we'll pause that minute timer then.
It's worn by one person, but it has a spiritual connection between two people.
Not really. I've given you two really good hints.
Okay. Between two people, but one person's wearing it. A ring?
Hey, there it is. Yeah,
Okay.
a wedding ring. My next hint was gonna be your.
Okay.
My next hint was gonna be you are currently wearing it.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say, I was getting there. I was like, okay. And then I'm like, all right, yeah, ring. Okay.
Yeah. See, you're not too bad. I mean, the hints helped you out quite a bit.
Yeah, the hint helped a lot. But-
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this is the XP Podcast, our weekly video game and pop culture news podcast, where two, sometimes more, people like to sit down, argue, disagree, whatever with, but talk about video games and all the news stories happening inside and out of this world that we love. We post a new episode each and every Tuesday, so you can listen to it throughout your work week. You can find us on most of our popular podcasting services right now, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and Google Podcasts. If you enjoy what we're doing here, please support us on a Patreon where you can be a part of our weekly discussions and give us your opinions on everything we talk about and everything we don't. You will also be able to find all of our uploads there, along with any exclusive episodes we may decide to post. Links for that, as always, are in the description down below. Oh my god, I keep punching my mic. If you don't have any money to send our way, don't worry, we still love and appreciate you for listening to us and being a part of our growing community. Now here's where we like to give a shout out to the people who have become our Platinum Patreon members, our highest tier. So shout out to you, Mr. Logan Leffler. Again, we still appreciate you and we still love you. Deep breath. If for some reason you want to see our shining faces, well, sorry you can't yet, but we will get that to you as quick as we can. You can still go over to our YouTube channel where you can find all of our shows in video format. If you do, please don't forget to give us a like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you can be aware of everything we post when we post it. With all that out of the way, let's finally get into our show. Today in the news, we'll be talking about PlayStation buying another studio, a new Witcher game is in the works, that Halo TV show that finally came out, and much, much more. Then in our points of the show, we'll be talking everything Switch-related, past, present, and future. But before we get into all that, it's time for What You've Been Doing, where we catch up on all things pop culture that we've been doing. whether that be gaming, TV shows, movies, books, and comics. It doesn't matter to us because we're all nerds. So, Mr. Birdman, what have you been doing this week?
All right.
Man, I
We'll
was
start
sorry.
off
Hold
with
on,
gaming as
I was dry mouthing that one, dude. It was rough.
um. Let's see. Okay, so start off with video games that I've been playing this week. As always, for the past what I think 3-4 weeks now, I've been playing Elden Ring. As always, almost hit the 40-hour mark. It was really close. Um, I've definitely gotten over that wall I once had, and now I am literally just destroying any wall that gets in my path. I'm starting to become a little overpowered in the area I'm in, uh, which is a good thing because I'm actually starting to get through stuff and I'm starting to get closer to the second story boss. The only thing that's stopping me right now is there's a kind of a blockade that's kind of stopping me. There's three huge giants, and then there's a tree sentinel I have to fight
And
just to get to the entrance
I,
of the next boss. So what?
I thought the wall you were stopped at was the second boss.
Oh, I already. Oh, wait. I guess it's been a while since I really talked about this. I've done a lot this week in Elden Ring. I forgot. I uh I beat the second story boss. At least I think it's the second story boss. I'm not sure. It had a cutscene, so therefore it's a story boss in some way or form. I beat, in my opinion, one of the coolest bosses so far in the game for me, and his name's General Radon. And dude, this boss fight was so freaking cool. It was like an Avengers moment where literally you jump into this battle arena. It's huge, bunch of sand, a bunch of weapons destroyed, and the whole point of this fight is it's a festival to fight and defeat General Radon, which is this super huge dude that rides this tiny little horse, which is kind of funny. And he has these super huge swords and huge bow. And literally, in order to help you out with the fight, you can summon these people that you've been meeting throughout the game, and you have all these people you summon. There's like 8 people you summon, and then you're all charging. You're all like different heroes and stuff. And it was like an Avengers moment where we're all trying to go fight like Thanos. It was so freaking cool. Like that boss fight is probably the best boss fight I've had in the entire game so far. It is so freaking cool. So yeah, I finally beat the second story boss. Finally starting to make some progress. I found some super cool stuff where after defeating Radon, you get a meteor that crashes into the map, which opens another part of the map that you haven't explored yet, which was this underground city, which was also super cool. Um, but not to drive on and on, but I gotta say, yeah, I finally got past the wall that I had last week. I think I got a little too angry about the new update, but in my opinion, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think I finally pushed past what I thought was making the game harder. It actually isn't that bad. So, um, yeah, I've been really enjoying it. Almost 40 hours in, still finding new stuff, and now I am on to the next story boss, which I cannot wait to get to the next story boss. But yeah, what's stopping me right now is three giants and a tree sentinel. And I haven't been there in a while, but I want to level up a lot before I go there because I know those giants, they are strong. They are super super strong. And it's not the normal beefy weird looking giants. It's like these giants that are like made of molten, and they're all black, and they like one of them has a axe or something like that, and the others have bows, and the bows literally, if they hit you, half your health is gone. It is so bad. So yeah, that's what I've been doing with Elden Ring for
Okay,
this
so
week.
you said,
Um,
is it in Redmane Castle? Star Scorched Radon? Is that who you're talking
yeah,
about?
yep.
Okay, so that seems to be, yeah, the second. Wait, no, you've already taken out Godfrey, haven't you? The first Elden Lord?
Oh yeah. So technically three story bosses. If you talk about that one too that I fought, so technically three.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to read up on. There's anywhere between 12 to 15, but the order is all effed up. What I'm trying to. looking at. So you said you've beaten, yeah, you beaten Godric the Grafted, right?
Yep.
Okay. Then you beat Renalia, Queen of the Full Moon, right?
Uh, I don't think so.
Have you beaten Red Wolf Radagon?
N- no.
Oh, you skipped like 4 of them then.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, literally, dude, I'm so like I'm going everywhere trying to find bosses. There's a few of them that like I can't get through. Like one of them has this frozen door, but you have to like go to this meeting place, but the map doesn't help me at all because for some reason they give you this map and you can barely see anything on it. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, you should be able to find where this meeting location is to get the key to get into this door." And I tried to look everywhere without looking things up on the internet, which I haven't yet, which I probably will because literally the map that they give you, for some reason, whoever designed it, they let you hit square to look at the map, but it doesn't zoom in all the way to look at the map. Like it's very small on the screen still. And it's like, okay, so how am I supposed to know where this location is when you're giving me like you're not even zooming in enough to let me look at the map? So I don't know what the point of that is, but I'm supposed to go find a location and then I guess I get the key, I get through the gate, and then I'm gonna get to the next boss, the next story boss, another one, and then the other story boss is in another castle that I told you about where I have to get past the three giants and the tree sentinel, which I don't know if I have to kill them or not, but I'm just gonna kill them and see what happens, and then I got to get through that door. So yeah, I don't know where I am with the story bosses. I've been kind of going everywhere. Like I haven't even been sticking to a location. I just like as soon as I go to somewhere that looks interesting, I go there, and then magically I run into a story boss or I run into a boss. So, but it's still really fun. I've been really enjoying
Okay,
it, even though
so
I'm still kind of lost.
so it says the Red Wolf and Renalia, um, you can actually kill any of the demigod bosses instead of those two.
Okay.
I don't know how any of this shit works. I'm just trying to read lists, man. But now at this list that I'm looking at, which seems to be like a much more in depth list, it doesn't have the person you just beat on there. So I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think what I heard was General Radon was supposedly not even like he's a side boss, but he has a cutscene. So he's kind of like a story boss, but not a story boss. I don't really know anymore who's a story and who's not.
Oh
I'm
yeah, it
kind of
says
I'm kind of getting confused.
the challenging Stall Scourge Radon is thankfully optional, but it is a route to the end of the game if you like. So I
Interesting.
don't know what any of this means.
The only thing I know is I defeated Radon, and then that connected with the witch that gave me the bell for the what is it called? The spirits that you can use. Um, I found her after defeating a boss, and she put me on a side quest in which I already did everything in the underground city. And she told me about the underground city after I already did everything in the underground city. I had to go to this chest to get this thing, but because that underground city wouldn't be a thing if I didn't defeat General Radon, because General Radon, after dying, he has a meteor that comes into the map, which opens up that underground city. Dude, it's all over the place. I'm
I hate to say something, but you did not beat him at his strongest. He got nerfed in 1.03.
Yeah, but he barely got nerfed. It wasn't even that much. It was just mostly that he was just a bit stronger. I think the percent wasn't even that
No,
big.
his melee attacks have smaller hitboxes, and his gravity magic now does way less damage, according
Hey,
to
that's
the
fine with
patch
me.
notes. Yeah, it's fine. I don't care.
I
But
mean, honestly, from what I heard, is still the in-game bosses are still kind of insane. Like basically, from what I'm hearing, is where I am in the game, I am slowly going to get stronger. But then when I get to the second half of the game, it's almost like you're reset back to one, and literally people still smack you around. Anyways, you're a super high level. So yeah, I'm expecting. That's why I'm trying to level up as much as possible, fight as many bosses as possible, and level up as much as I can before I get to the second half of the game. Which I don't even. I think I'm close to the second half of the game. I mean, I'm already. I'm really close to the next part of the map. Again, I just have to get past those three giants and the tree sentinel, and I think if I defeat them, I get to move on to the next area. I'm not sure. So I'm still questioning things, and I'm probably doing it wrong, and probably there's a different way to get to the next area, but I'm just gonna assume that's the way to get in because every other area I went to didn't really get me to the next area.
Have you
So
beaten the fire
I'm
giant yet?
assuming no,
No. Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. And you haven't beaten Godskin
So
or anything,
oh
right?
no,
Okay. Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't think so.
you're about, from what I can gather from these four lists that I keep switching back, trying to piece things together. Because there's a lot of disagreement on what is what. You're about halfway through.
Oh, okay. All right. I hope so because I'm almost 40 hours in. I feel like
Well, considering the
I
one,
still
yeah, you said you've beaten Godfrey the First Overlord, you've beaten Morgoth the Omen King, right? But you haven't beaten the Fire Giant.
no.
Yeah, so you're sitting in between 6 and 7 out of 13. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to fight the next story boss. So hopefully next week I'll have an update on that. Other than that, definitely haven't been playing as much GTA as Mike here. But I've been putting in a few hours every day. Yesterday I was gonna play GTA, but I got so addicted to Elden Ring that I spent like hours on that game. I think I put like 4 hours into Elden Ring yesterday, 4 or 5. Um, yeah. So I wanted to beat GTA 5, especially before the new Lego Star Wars comes out, which I know is going to take up a lot of my time when that comes out. But yeah. And then, so other than video games, I watched a few movies this weekend. Um, I would say two of them were very interesting. They were very cringy, cheesy movies that I watched. I don't know if you ever heard of The Killer's Sofa, Mike. It was the most
no, thank God I have
just
not.
it's yeah, it was an
I'm looking it
interesting
up.
movie. It was really dumb.
Killer
It was
Sofa.
super like dude, it is funny. It is so dumb. Um and that was an interesting movie to watch. Definitely look it up. The next one also is going to surprise you.
Hold on, hold on,
The
hold on,
next
hold on.
one,
Hold
yeah,
on. I want to read the write-up for this. A killer reclining chair becomes enchanted by a girl and starts committing crimes of passion. You you
yep,
you actually sat down and watched this movie, huh?
yep.
That's a bold move,
Sat down,
man.
watched it with Amy and our friend Nick, and yeah, that was
So what'd you think?
um, it was as cringy and as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it was kind of funny too at the same time.
That's
But it
good. That's
wasn't.
good.
I think it kind of took itself seriously. Not super serious.
Well,
Like
that's not
clearly there
good
was
then.
some jokes, but like it still had some like funny-ish scenes, but it also semi took itself seriously. So it wasn't like the next movie I'm gonna bring up. Have you ever heard of the Velocipaster? Yeah.
No,
This
no,
no, dude.
I have not.
So first,
The
let me tell you what the
the
scores are for this movie.
the
It supposedly
pastor.
has a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 70% score on audience score. Don't know how it got it,
I'll
but
see. On
it
IMDb, it's got a 5.1.
yeah.
All right, here we
But
go. Well, since I read the write-up, before you give your response, I want to read the write-up on this one. All right. After
okay.
losing his parents, a priest travels to China, where he inherits a mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first horrified by his new power, a hooker convinces him to use it to fight crime and ninjas. So go on. What did you
Yep.
think of Velocipaster?
Um at least this movie knew it was going to be funny from the beginning.
Well, I would hope so.
It did not take itself seriously at all. Um it's super funny. Like it is one of those movies obviously that is super cringy and just really bad, but it knows it's bad and it's just funny for that reason. It's like Sharknado or I
To
guess I
say,
won't really
yeah.
compare it to the yeah, I
No,
would say it's
no,
more like Sharknado where like
it's
clearly
definitely
it
a
doesn't take
yeah.
itself seriously.
It's definitely the Sharknado vein.
And dude, this movie had even less budget than Sharknado. I mean, they only had like $35,000 in budget, And it was it definitely you could tell it had a very low budget, but it was really funny. I actually think it's worth a watch because it's so stupid. Like if you're going into it and you know what kind of movie it's gonna be, and the jokes that they put in it, it's still kind of funny. Like it's really bad, but really funny at the same time. It's just a meme worthy movie. So I recommend people watch it because it's really bad and it's funny to watch. Um, and then so the last movie was actually a good movie, and it was actually a serious movie, and it wasn't like the other two. I watched Hush. I don't know if you ever heard of that movie.
Yeah, oh my god, yes.
Dude, that movie was awesome. I know I've always been interested in it. I'm not a big horror fan, but I've always been interested in it since the trailer came out. So, for the people that don't know this, I guess to keep it very simple, it's about this girl that is deaf and basically,
Yeah,
she basically
she's a
has to
writer,
fight to
right?
survive. Yeah, she's a
Yeah,
writer,
yeah.
yeah,
I was
and
making
she has
sure
to
I remembered
fight to
it.
survive, a serial killer that's trying to kill her, and that's basically the whole premise you really need to know about it, and, yeah, it was awesome. Like, I really liked it a lot. I didn't know what to think of it, but man, it just gets into it, like, very quickly, and I thought the story was really cool. It was really interesting, some of the things they did in it. Yeah, I highly recommend people watch it. It's not a super scary movie, but it's interesting more than anything. And yeah, people die and yeah, there's things that happen, but like it's good. I highly recommend it to anyone. But yeah.
So no Adam Project yet, huh?
Oh crap, I forgot. Literally last week, um, after we recorded the last podcast, I went to my parents' house and we watched it. I forgot about that movie. I actually
Oh,
totally
okay.
forgot about that. We
Yeah.
did watch it.
What'd you think?
It was awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good,
It
right?
was
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it
mean,
was really good. We all really enjoyed it.
that
I thought the
lightsaber's
jokes
cool
were
as shit.
funny. Yes, yeah. I loved all the references and all the jokes, especially when the kid jumps down and he does like the stance. He says, I did
Superhero
the
pose.
superhero pose." Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
it's
love
good.
that. It was
It's
super
good.
funny. I think everyone in it did a really good job at acting, and I don't know. It surprised me. I didn't think I was gonna like it because it seemed very cringy from the trailers, but I ended up really enjoying it. I thought the story was interesting enough.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it had some
So,
good emotional beats. Oh my god, the scene at the end, uh, the playing catch scene. Don't want to spoil
oh
anything. Oh,
yes.
yeah, that was how. I do have a little bit of continuity problems with it, but that was just me being picky for the sake of being picky. Did you catch at the very, very end? There is a huge Easter egg that I was talking about last week. That I was excited that I caught it on like play. I didn't have to look anything up.
Um, I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure.
So at the very, very end, this isn't really a spoiler because I'm gonna try to keep it spoiler free. Zoe Saldana's character talks about her major and what she's
Oh, I definitely
studying.
did not hear that.
Oh,
No.
yeah. When she says it's like literally the last minute of the movie, right before the final scene, like the final shot comes on, and what she says is the same thing that she was studying in Star Trek. Her character in Star Trek.
Oh yeah, I definitely wouldn't have gotten that
Yeah,
reference.
it's like multicultural linguistics or something like that. But it's the exact same thing that she says in the first, the 2009 first Star Trek movie, that she is a specialized in. I was like, oh, that was cool. That was cool shit. I liked that a lot. But no,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I
I mean,
really, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it didn't do anything special in terms of movie making or filmmaking or anything. It was just a really good time traveling sci-fi science fiction movie.
yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, it was really good. It surprised me, and I think my family and my wife Amy also really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was really good. I liked it a lot. Obviously, Ryan Reynolds, just as always, nails his role, and I'm happy they let him kind of be the normal Ryan Reynolds. Like I think one movie that I well, obviously there's a few, but one movie that came out from Netflix that I didn't like that Ryan Reynolds was in was what was that one?
Six
It
Underground.
was like yeah, like he was
Yeah,
too serious.
yeah, it
That's
didn't
not
work.
who how he is. Like him being the sarcastic guy, I think that is literally his perfect role. He nails it every time. I think, and I especially like how the kid nailed him on the sarcasm.
Oh my
Like I
god, yeah, the kid is
loved it.
great,
Like
dude.
yeah, it was like literally so funny. And again, it makes me hope that there's another Deadpool coming out because I literally love those movies. I think that's like his number one role, in my opinion.
I
I think
I
that's my favorite role of his.
I've been telling you for 2 years now. Yes, there is, but you're gonna be disappointed about it because it's not gonna be what you or the fans of Deadpool want it to be. I'm fairly convinced of that.
I am going to disagree on that because
I know.
I think they're still letting Fox do their own thing in a sense. Like obviously Deadpool isn't going to get into the MCU. I just know it isn't going to happen. He's too much of a adult hero that I don't think, just like the Punisher, just like they're never going to get into the MCU because they're too adult of heroes for Marvel. But I think they're gonna let, obviously Fox. They're still gonna get money from it. They're not gonna put the Disney name on it. But I think they're gonna let them make another Deadpool because Deadpool, I think, is probably one of their most successful of all their Fox movies. I would probably say. I don't know that by heart,
Well,
but
some of
I'm gonna
the,
assume most
I mean,
likely that's one of their most successful.
some of the OG X-Men movies, especially two, made a shit ton of money, and it's probably
Oh yeah,
the first and second X-Men movies. We owe the credit to the modern day superhero genre as a whole. That and the first Spider-Man. So, but anyway,
but I do
go ahead. Sorry, finish your statement.
But I do think they are going to do that. And especially another reason why I know they're going to let them do that is because I don't know if you've been on Disney Plus recently, but they're updating their terms, and where people, whenever you log back in, now you have to say if you want to watch M-rated movies,
Well, that's because
which means Disney Plus is going
n-
to be getting,
no,
you know,
that's because the Marvel stuff from Netflix got added. That's why that's in
really.
there. Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. No, Deadpool, Jessica Jones, it's all on there. Well, maybe it's not all on there, but I know Deadpool is on there. I don't know how the release is going off, but yeah, they finally added the Netflix stuff. But here's the thing: is originally a lot of people said, yeah, see, they're willing to do M-rated stuff. I'm like, no, they're willing to unchange things that people love because that's already established. I think the proof will be in the pudding if, because we already know they're rebooting Deadpool. Sorry, they're rebooting. Oh my God, Dare.
X-Men?
No, Daredevil. Jesus, they're rebooting
Oh.
Daredevil with Charlie Cox in.
Well, yeah, that's going to be a
Yeah,
Disney thing though.
but if that's not M-rated, if that's not as dark and mature as the original show things, I don't see a way that they're gonna do Deadpool the same thing. They're gonna PG-13 Deadpool.
Again, I don't agree with that because I think what they're going to do is they're going to make Deadpool, but they're going to put it under the Fox name, and they're not going to literally put Disney on there. They're still going to make money from it, but they are going to pull the card where they're going to say it's not a Disney movie, it is a Fox movie. They own Fox, and Fox still gets their name on movies. So I think literally what they're going to do is they're just going to put it under the Fox name so they can't get any, like there won't be mad parents where they're like, well, this is a immature Disney movie. Well, if it's not under the Disney name, then they can't get in deep for that. Like I think Deadpool is still going to be an immature or R-rated movie. I don't know why I keep saying immature. R-rated.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, I
I
will
think that's what they're
say
going to do.
that I hope you're right. I am not
I
saying what
bet
I.
on it. I would be willing to bet on
Pizza night.
it. Pizza night. Yeah.
All right, I'm willing to bet a pizza night. It's only $20. Out of my checkbook. F it.
That's fair.
All right, you done? Anything
Yeah,
else you got?
I think that's been pretty much it for this week if I'm thinking. Yeah, that's pretty much been it.
So where are you at in GTA?
Pretty much when we last talked, that's probably where I'm at. I am on, let's
You were
see.
doing the Palieto Bay score last time we talked.
Oh yeah, I was about to do that. I was about to start that and then I didn't get to do it yet.
Oh,
So,
okay.
that's where I'm left off.
Well, I guess to me, I have officially rolled credits on GTA 5 Next Gen at the 36-hour mark. So, I'm probably not going to do too much more on it. I might go through and do some of the assassination missions and cheese the stock market so I can just get a crap ton of money. And that's probably it. I'm probably going to roll out, honestly. pretty quickly after it. Still a good game, obviously a great game, but playing through it this time in 2022, I was like, man, this feels more like a video game than it used to. Do you do you get what I'm saying with that? Like we already talked about it in private sometime, but like it feels more like a video game than it ever did, than I ever remember it doing.
Um,
It
I
doesn't
mean, I
feel
guess so.
it doesn't
I
feel
mean, it's
as
more just like
natural.
it doesn't feel the same as it. Well, I
Yeah.
guess it doesn't feel as natural because also it's not a new release. Like
Yeah.
it's still the same game that we played back in 2013.
But I
You
guess
know, it's the same thing.
I remembered it being more fluid and not as stiff as it is and from through the modern lens, you
Well,
know.
yeah.
Yeah, like it
I mean,
is
there's definitely some
it's
feedback
pretty
I have on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty rigid in its structure and design. Um being as, you can't go anywhere and do anything as you've talked about, as the shops the buildings pretty closed off, most of them to you. Yeah, you can go in and you rob some stores and all that. But we've definitely come a long way since the game came out. Now saying that, like it's still a seminal game in the open world genre. Like I'm not taking that away from it, but looking at it through a modern day lens, these are my responses to it and my criticisms. Is the world felt bland to me, but that's also coming from the guy who is over like over and over again said that modern day open world games are innately not as interesting to me as something like a post apocalyptic or a fantasy or something that has a little bit more ingenuity behind it than just presenting the world as I know it. Also, what this makes no sense to me. Why is there a fog of war in this game?
What do you mean? Like, I mean, that's been in the game. I
Yes,
don't know
okay.
what PC version you played on, but
I
I know all the times I've played, you've had to discover the map.
okay, I get that. Yes, I understand. I'm not saying that originally I remembered it not being that way, but again, I could be wrong. It was 9 years ago, so but I'm saying why? The whole concept of a fog of war in a modern day open world game makes zero effing sense. Because the concept of fog of war is like you're exploring a new place. Your character has never been here, or maybe it's Uncharted in a way. Not the video game Uncharted. I mean like Uncharted in terms of exploration. But that is the idea of the fog of war. You're telling me that Franklin doesn't know his way around Los Santos and he needs to actually drive to open the map. No, this is a modern
I
day game that the map should just be open to you. You shouldn't have to uncover the map. It's set in modern times. You're telling me if I drive to Los Angeles, yes, I don't know where I'm going, but I can pull up Google and it damn sure know where I'm going. I don't know the map because I don't live there, but we go to St. Louis. I pretty much know that map fairly well. So same as you, I'm guessing you know the map fairly well. You've lived there your whole life. So you're telling me that these characters that have lived here, well, Michael and Trevor not so much, but Franklin, who's lived here his whole life, he has to uncover the map as he goes? I'm sorry, that makes zero sense.
Here, wait. I disagree with that point of view. I think the thing is, like, yes, if you look at it from the character's point of view, yes, it doesn't make any sense. But it's mainly made for new players, which I mean, I guess they don't really need to add a toggle. It's not that big of a deal, but they mainly added Fog of War for new players. Like when I first played GTA 5, it was awesome because I was like, what's over there? I put a marker there and I drove all the way out there and I had no clue what was out there. I like that because of that reason. Now I understand from our point of view, and if you're thinking, especially if you think of the character's point of view, yeah, if you think of the character's point of view, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But it's not. You got to have the suspension of disbelief. The fact that we don't know, but they do. We want to explore and find new things. And yes, we played GTA 5 before, and we've already, seen the entire map. So yeah, it's like we already know about these things, but I think it's mostly for new players, if there even is many new players nowadays. But they have it there for like the people that have never played GTA 5 and they're like, "Oh, what's over there? Like it's all hidden, so I want to go over there and explore it." It's the same for Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, Arthur Morgan probably knows most of those lands pretty well. And you could literally argue that he should know all that too. But there's fog of war in that game too. When you go explore certain
Yeah, see, that
areas,
just makes more sense
you
though, because
open up new maps.
it's the wilderness. I'm just talking about, I don't know. Maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree
I
here, but
obviously, if you think of the characters, yes, it makes sense. But if you're thinking of the player's point of view, we do not know the map. Like we do know the map, but the new players don't know the map. So it's their way of exploring the map and opening up new areas. I mean, I gotta
also,
at least respect that they don't do the old GTA thing where you're cut off from a certain section of the map. I hated that in old GTA games. I like that they
oh,
at least straight up
yeah.
open up the entire map from the beginning. Like you could literally just put a marker at the very end of the map and drive all the way out there, and there's nothing stopping you. That's what I've always liked about GTA 5.
I
But
also
yeah,
will say one thing though, and this is not a criticism of a game. It's more of a criticism of me as a gamer. Never once in any modern day open world game have I ever put a point on the marker and said, "I wonder what's there." I do that in fantasy games, in post-apocalyptic games, and everything because I know what's over there. It's gonna be a building, some roads, maybe a trailer park. It's a modern day thing. There's gonna be a city over there. I don't need to know. I just experience the story. But that's me. I just don't find modern day open world games as innately interesting or explorable as something that I've never been to before. I've been in a city. I know that there's buildings over there. Is there cool things to be discovered? Absolutely. I'm not saying there's not. Like there's not uncool things to be discovered in this game. Obviously, this game has all kinds of stuff. But I mean, when I play Watch Dogs, I just go to the mission point. I play the modern day open world games like you played Horizon. We are completely opposite in terms of what we think is interesting and what we think is uninteresting in open world games. Because like I don't understand how you played Horizon the way you do without exploring things and without like experiencing the world. And I'm sure you're sitting there like, how do you not explore GTA? How do you not explore Watch Dogs? It's like, well, because I know it's out there. It's a building and some roads. I don't need to go see it. Just tell me the story. So we're the complete opposite in that way.
I would say GTA 5 isn't the most interesting place to explore compared to the other games. Like, I mean, first time I played it, yeah, it was really interesting until I started to figure out that there's not really a lot you can do other than go kill some civilians, get in a cop car chase, or that's pretty much it. I mean, or go to a strip club and stuff. Like, we already talked about this earlier, but like, my issue with GTA 5 is I feel like they took out a lot from like what GTA 4 already had. So instead of innovating, they took away things. And yeah, they innovated in a lot of things. There are a lot of cool things to GTA 5, but I think the open world took a big hit because of most of those innovations, in my opinion. It also didn't help that it did come out still on the 360 and PS3 days, so it kind of also didn't help that it had a very, it came out on underpowered consoles, and I think they probably had a bigger idea of what they wanted to make, which kind of made me sad that when they did bring it to Xbox One and PS4, they didn't upgrade much other than like the graphics and that. And obviously, I didn't expect this next gen upgrade to do that either because, well, clearly I knew it wasn't going to add any new buildings or new, free roam stuff. But yeah, I mean, like compared to Red Dead, I did actually really enjoy that open world, and I actually, uh, you know, I figured out that that open world is great because, like, I mean, I literally at the beginning of the game when I first got to the open world, I played a couple missions, and then I'm like, you know what? I kind of just want to go explore, and I like put a marker on the other side of the map, and I just started riding my horse, and then on the way there, I had an adventure because I would run into random people, I run into random events. I got to go into buildings, check out stores, talking to people, find out about mysteries in the towns, um, stuff like that. That was cool. I mean, that's one thing GTA 5 really just does not have. Like you go,
No,
I guess I agree with that.
there's no open world stories to be told other than the strangers, but the strangers still have mission points to go to. Like they won't
Yeah,
activate until you go to them. There's nothing
and like
organic about this world.
and there's like stuff that's cool to like look at, like buildings and cool environments to look at in GTA 5, but the issue is just interactivity, in my opinion. And that's why I'm really hoping with the new GTA 6 that comes out they bring back the interactivity that like GTA 4 had, but like add also the cool stuff they added from GTA 5 and then just go ramp it up to the max like Red Dead Redemption 2 did. Like I want to be able to interact with all the NPCs kind of like in Red Dead Redemption 2 even if it's basic stuff, like just like I don't know, more environmental storytelling, more of just I like the exploration of seeing what's around the towns and yeah, I don't know. I just hope the next one does better. And I like GTA 5 a lot, but that's why I didn't make my top 10 especially. It's just I think the game's world is lacking compared to most GTA games. Like go to GTA San Andreas and look at all the things you can do in that game. You can work out.
Yeah.
You can go to the fast food place. You can hang out with people and do more interactive stuff. You could do gang fights, stuff like that. Like a lot of, and you can even go do crash derbies and stuff. And that's the issue with GTA 5 is literally they have that stuff, but they put it all on online only, which is just dumb. But
Yeah.
I'm hoping they don't do that again. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Later on in the podcast, we're going to talk about a very controversial thing that's happening with them right now.
I was gonna say they're going to, man. Like
But I
GTA
hope
alone
they
makes them so much
don't.
money. They're
I
going
hope
to.
they don't. I hope they add some of the cool stuff you could do in GTA Online to the next campaign that you could actually do more stuff. Because, like, yeah, I get it. Online is always going to be a thing. It's going to be their big money maker. But at least add a good amount of content, especially with exploration. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, I didn't care that the online sucked because I mostly got it for the campaign. And I think the campaign has the perfect amount of content and it is great. GTA 5, on the other hand, has a good amount of content, but the online has way more. And it makes me wish that they had some of that content from online in GTA 5. Like just going to casino. Like, why is that not a feature? I don't get why that's not a thing in the campaign. But that's just me going on a ramble. But yeah, I mean, I agree. GTA 5 isn't the most interesting world to explore compared to other games. But yeah.
That's it. Like this is just me, my modern day lens. Like I always tell you, sometimes you gotta, especially with movies and, well, mostly with movies, is sometimes you gotta watch them through the lens of when they were created if you want to understand the significance of the creation. Like if you go back and you watch some of these really old seminal movies through a modern day lens, no, they're not even really good. But like it's because of their existence that we have the movies that we do today. So knowing that, I know that GTA 5 had a huge imprint on the modern video game world. So I'm not taking anything away from it. However, I will probably drop this out of the honorable mentions of my top 10 after replaying it. I think there's another game that's an open world game that you shoot webs that much more deserves the spot on the list than GTA
Yeah.
5. In my opinion, that was a mistake that I made. I still had the memory that GTA 5 was as significant as it was, but playing through it, I'm like, man, this world is really kind of just dead. But moving on, don't want to spend too much time on it because we may do a whole retrospective review if we want to. We may sit down and have a whole episode where we talk about GTA. That's something you and I can talk about. But I also started The Wolf Among Us. Well, not started, restarted it. Started for the girl last night, letting her make most of the decisions. I just do all the gameplay stuff, letting her decide what my character says or what her character says and everything like that. She's really terrible. She's kind of an asshole. Like I play a much nicer Big B than she does, but so yeah, we're getting through that and says I know you're playing, at least I hope you're still planning on finishing that.
I do, but yeah, I need to get through GTA 5 real quick so I could start that game. But then sadly in the next few weeks we got Lego Star Wars coming up and that is going to take up an insane amount of my time.
How about this?
So,
Just, one night. I mean, they're only 2 hour episodes. You can just start to kind of slowly knock them off, Dedicate
yeah.
maybe like one night. Like, Friday night. Well, I guess you guys go out on Friday night. I don't go out on Friday night.
Well,
So.
maybe this week I will try to play an episode every other day. That's what I'm going to try to do.
Yeah, I think Peyton and I are gonna do, since I don't really have anything to do for this whole week, we're gonna do an episode a night. I'm trying to decide what I want to play for this week. I have no clue. I know I need to finally finish the Platinum 2 Horizon. I'm now 2 trophies away. GTA got me distracted. So I don't want to start Cyberpunk yet because yeah, Star Wars. So I may double tandem in April, Star Wars and Cyberpunk. But other than that, I watched one movie this week. Sorry, that's it. And it was fucking weird. It's called Flowers in the Attic. Have you ever seen Flowers in the Attic?
I've never even heard of that.
It
That sounds
is.
strange.
Well, there's two different movies. Obviously, I watched the more recent interpretation. It's based off a book from I don't know when, a long time ago, but 1979. There we go. I guess that's not that long ago in the grand scheme of things, but this movie is. It's not bad in any way. I actually think it has some really interesting things to say, especially about the argument of nature versus nurture in terms of raising children. Because like you get to see things how these kids' situations that they're put into has a major impact on who they grow up to be or who they develop to be as they're discovering themselves. And man, this is a weird one. It's a good one, but it is weird and it tackles some interesting things. I will say that. You might want to give it a shot. It actually is pretty good. And it's not that long. It's only an hour and a half. It's 90 minutes. So you're in and out pretty quickly. But I don't want to say too much about it because there is a lot that this movie wants to say and has to say. Overall, I'd say 3.5 out of 5.
Dang. Okay.
I mean, it's not like a 7 out of 10.
So it's a very
It's good.
artsy movie.
Not
Well,
really,
you know.
no. It's not really artsy,
Okay.
if I say. It's just a regular movie. Like, it's not preaching or anything like that. It's just presenting overall despicable characters outside of the kids, obviously, that put these children and these kids in certain situations that then challenges the audience to understand how they became who they eventually become and who the movie presents them to be. And you have to kind of ask yourself, like, is this because of the situation that they were put in, that they developed and they had certain ways that, they thought about the world because it was a very limited in the way that they were raised. They didn't really have anything to base some of these feelings and some of these perspectives off of. So it kind of challenges the audience to like kind of ask yourself, is it because this is who they were, or this is because this is how they were raised? So it's a whole nature versus nurture argument that happens in most child development arguments. So, but pretty good. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Are you gonna watch it?
No, probably not. I don't think
Oh,
it's my kind of movie. Maybe
it'll make
here's
you
the thing.
think.
Maybe I'll come down whenever I come down next
Oh
week.
no.
I'll watch it.
Come down. You're coming down next week?
No, I mean when I come
Oh,
down.
I was like, shit, man.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
you did not tell me that at all.
Yep, I'm dropping it, dude. We're gonna come down, and I'm not gonna let you know.
I mean, honestly, it makes sense because it's before Star Wars. You don't have anything to do. It would make sense to be next week,
That's
but
fair.
that's
Well, actually, this weekend, anyways. Oh, wait, next week. This week you're talking about?
yeah, this coming weekend. So
Well,
it's right before
Amy's
Star Wars.
birthday is this weekend,
Oh, that
so
doesn't
that's the
matter.
only reason why.
Like I told
Yeah,
you earlier,
it
you
doesn't
already
matter.
put the ring on it, man. You don't have to celebrate a birthday. I'm just kidding.
Uh,
For those of you guys out there, please celebrate your girl's birthday. Trust me. If you don't, they never let you forget about it. Trust me on that one. So, if you have nothing else, that was what you've been doing. Where Logan and I sit down and we talk about everything that we've been doing. Pretty short week. I've only done 3 things, so pretty boring week. We're moving on now to Around the Point, where we go around the video game world and talk about all the news stories in and out and what we think about them. First story on the list, I want to get into it. Before we get into a decent amount of PlayStation news, I want to dive into CD Projekt Red confirms a new Witcher Saga is in the works. I want to go through a couple of the interesting things that are going on here, what I think about them, what Logan thinks about them, because you've played The Witcher, right?
yeah, I've only played the third
Okay,
one.
yeah,
I played a part of the second one. I did not get interested in the beginning.
Oh, dude, the beginning. So, are you kidding me? That opening is so good. The siege?
I think
Oh,
it's mostly
it's
because
hard, but
honestly, I think
it's hard.
Witcher 3 opened it up to an open world, and I think that's why I liked it more.
There's open hubs in The Witcher 2. There's hub areas.
That's fair.
I know, but The Witcher 2 is actually pretty difficult. Well, I guess for me, I guess there's probably someone out there, but like, oh, this guy sucks because The Witcher 2 is easy. But I don't know. But anyway, so CD Projekt Red announced via a new teaser trailer that a new saga is beginning over at CD Projekt Red. A couple cool, interesting things. It will run on the Unreal Engine 5 via their new partnership with Epic Games. And this partnership, I think, is hugely interesting. Um, and it kind of shows that they're willing to take steps outside of what happened with Cyberpunk. I think it's actually I think it's good news that it's running on a different engine. So, what do you think
I'm excited.
about the
I
engine
think it's I
more?
think it's a great move that they're moving to a different engine, to be honest. Yeah, especially after Cyberpunk. Um, I think honestly that engine they were using probably could have had an update for, start working on 2077. And I think that's what also kind of it's not completely the reason why Cyberpunk lacked, but I think it also is an outdated engine and they need an upgrade. And so I'm happy that they are going to Unreal Engine 5. We don't really know again how good Unreal Engine 5 is going to be other than that demo, but that demo was super curated and just set up specifically for that. So I kind of want to see, I can't wait to finally see an Unreal Engine 5 game come out so we can actually see what it truly can do. So I'm both excited and also nervous to see what Unreal Engine 5 really can do. Like, I want an actual game to come out that's Unreal Engine 5 so that we can actually see what it does. So I'm excited. I hope it helps them with their production for the next Witcher game. I hope it makes it a little bit easier on them, and I hope it also doesn't, have as much of a nightmare as Cyberpunk
Well, I think what's good
was.
about it is it enables them to stop worrying about their own engine and worry about producing their own games. They don't have to worry about updating the engine every time they come out with a new game, creating the assets within the engine to create the game that they want to. I think that was one of the main problems with Cyberpunk is the development team had this massive scope for this game, and they promised a lot because they thought they could do it, and then they realized, obviously, like everyone knows, we can't do this. The Red Engine can't handle this. So during the process of that game, they had to completely retool the engine to be able to fit what they were doing, which led to what we got. You know, a super buggy mess where the the engine just was breaking under the weight of the game that CD Projekt wanted to create. Now that's not an excuse for CD Projekt. They should have identified the problems and either downscaled the game or gone out and done something like this, got a different engine, worked with some developers at a very early stage to be able to figure this out. But that's not how it happened. That's not where we're going to get to go. So, but I think this is extraordinarily exciting because Unreal Engine, we've heard from the very beginning, Unreal Engine 5 is being built for open worlds. It's being built to create the best open worlds we've ever seen. Now, obviously, Unreal Engine 5 is always going to be good for anything. It's probably the best game engine overall in the market today. Obviously, some of Sony's engines are pretty good. The one that Gorilla uses, which I can't think of the name, obviously is very good for open worlds. I think Unreal Engine 5 is probably easier to use, and it's probably a little better. Granted, we haven't fully seen Unreal Engine 5, as you've seen. We've seen some tech demos and we've seen some games displayed that are running on Unreal Engine 5, but we haven't actually lived in the world created in this engine yet. So, but I have all faith. When's the last time Unreal put out, or Epic put out an engine that wasn't good?
That's true.
Yeah,
And
I
I
mean,
mean,
never.
again, I'm not saying I don't want it. Again, just a little demo of like, again, and it's, I wouldn't really say that's a good demo because it's not a full blown game. It's just a demo, but just seeing that demo does give me a little bit of hope, but also worries me because there still hasn't been an actual full blown game yet. Which, when that first full blown game comes out with the Unreal Engine 5, it better be amazing because
Well, we also
they're
know
gonna
it's
need it to be good.
yeah, we also know it's super easy to work with because
Yeah.
you've heard of Black Myth Wukong, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, you need to look up the trailers for this game because it's a game being built by one person in Unreal
Oh
Engine
wait,
5.
isn't that that one with the? Oh wait, no wait. Let me look it up.
It's like
Keep going on though.
it's based in Chinese mythology and focuses a lot on like different forms of martial arts. And your main character is like I don't really know what kind of
Oh,
he's
I've
a
seen this
he's an
before.
anamorphic creature.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, he's that I know there's another game that also has this creature in it.
that game
Yeah.
was originally
It's
being built with by one person. I believe now he has got some funding and he's actually creating a small studio, but originally when that game was first shown off, it was built in Unreal Engine 5 by one person.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I remember watching the gameplay for that. I was thinking that's what you were talking about. Yeah, that
Yeah.
game looks phenomenal. And if it really is made by just one person, which that's insane. I don't know how that's possible, but that's super cool. If it's really that easy, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, can you imagine what a team of 200 people who have been in the industry for 10 years can do with this engine?
Yeah, that does have me excited.
So, also we learned that there's going to be a new school introduced during this game. I don't know how much you've gotten into the lore of the games, how much you've learned about the different schools. So they're introducing um the School of the Lynx, I believe is what it is. And that's really all I have on that. So, you can go out there and read up at different schools. Have you ever read the Witcher books? I mean, I know you're
I
not a reader,
probably
so you're probably not going to.
so no.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate.
Maybe an audiobook. There's one out there. I'll listen
Oh, there's
to
a whole
it,
bunch of
but
audiobooks.
I don't think I would ever. I don't think I would ever buy a book and actually read it. Like I've tried, never works. So
Last bit of information: Jason Slama, who was a UI programmer on Witcher 3 and most recently directed Gwent, the Witcher card game, has reiterated on his Twitter account and has made vividly clear that this game will not include any crunch. For those of you out there that don't understand what crunch is a term widely used in the video game industry to describe when a game is coming down to the ending of its production, and the employees at the studio have to work, frankly, obscene amount of hours and under harsh work conditions to get this game finished in time for release. Um, it's a practice that I think most people can agree is pretty shitty. I don't want to have to work 80 hours in my job to get something done. I'd rather just, work 40 hours for 2 more months than have to work 80 hours for a month. Or 80 hours a week, I mean, for a month to get a game done. I think we can all agree. That's probably, at least I hope we can all agree that that's a intelligent statement to make by me, Logan.
oh yeah,
Yeah. So
obviously there shouldn't be crunch in the first place. Honestly, if it's really gonna be pushed back or you can't make it on that date, then just push it back. Don't force your people to literally work super hard just to make sure it comes out on that specific date that you put out.
yeah. So I mean that's good. I do know we did learn that Horizon's final delay, the one that was delayed 4 months, was actually an effort to avoid crunch. They realized they were behind. They didn't want to do it, so they delayed the game. And I don't think anybody actually cares. I don't think. Yeah, we're disappointed at first when we learn about delays. I don't think anybody actually cares or gets mad that a game that they're excited about got delayed. Are you?
No.
No. It's like because I very rarely does a game ever get worse because it got delayed. I think it may have happened once in a blue moon. Awkward moment of silence here. I figured you would have something to say about that. So, other than just no.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well.
Sorry. I mean, obviously there's no reason to be mad for any delay. Delays are a good thing because then you know they know there's something wrong with the game, so they're at least going to try to come out with the hopefully the best game they possibly can. So, I mean, I already know Hogwarts Legacy, for example, is definitely going to get pushed back. I just know it, and I'm
Yeah,
not going to be mad.
I'm fairly convinced as well. So, all right, moving on to the next story. The next three stories, um, all related to PlayStation. So, strap in. We got some PlayStation stock here. First story, PlayStation acquires Haven Studios. Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced that it has entered an agreement to acquire Haven Entertainment Studios, the company founded by Jade Raymond that will become the 18th studio to join the PlayStation Studios family. Raymond, who is also the founder of Ubisoft Toronto and Motive Studios, and one of the key figures behind the original creation of Assassin's Creed, began Haven Studios in 2021 with an investment from SIE. Raymond, Raymond went on to say that joining PlayStation Studios provides Haven with the creative freedom and unparalleled support to focus on building the highest quality games. We're excited to have the opportunity to collaborate with and learn from all the exceptional PlayStation Studio teams. We intend to fully embrace the incredible capabilities of the PS5 to create new worlds that inspire players and allow them to connect in new ways. Now, we've already known for a while that Haven's new game is a live service experience built upon the PlayStation ecosystem. And I think this is just further proof that Sony is full head of steam to making live service games. Not, not only, obviously, but as like a core position of the future business. They just bought Destiny. They didn't buy Destiny. They bought Bungie. I guess they do technically have Destiny as well. But then they buy Haven Studios after initially giving them an investment to create their studios in the first place. And I think we're just gonna keep. They've already said that they in the next 10 years they hope to have like 8 live service games on the market functioning properly or something that they have down the pipeline. Before I get into my reaction, being the PlayStation guy, I want to get your reaction, Logan, someone who doesn't give a shit about PlayStation. So,
Oh yeah. Um, I mean, that's great. I think the one thing again PlayStation has been lacking on, they just don't really have any multiplayer games really, or any, like top tier good live service multiplayer games. So honestly, it's a good thing that they're starting to finally move that, because I feel like all they've really focused on pretty much for the past few years is just single player story based games. So it's good
they're
to see
great at
that
that.
they're actually, and they are. Yeah, I'm
they're,
not
they're
saying it's a bad thing.
phenomenal.
I'm just saying there is an audience out there that would probably enjoy if there was some exclusive multiplayer games too made by them. So I'm glad to see that they're doing that. Cross my fingers, hope that SOCOM comes back. Still always hope that game comes back in some way or form.
It's not.
But I can dream, Mike.
Oh,
Okay.
I think we're all dreaming. Shit, I want a new Infamous game, which actually, if the rumors are to believe, we may actually be getting a new Infamous game, which I would. Oh my man, I would have a reaction to that. Let me tell you.
But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see that they're actually starting to push their way into the multiplayer realm. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
mean, that's
cool.
all I can really say. I
Yeah,
think I'm excited. It's cool to see. Yeah, just can't wait to see what they come up with.
yeah, I think it's really cool. It's really exciting. I do kind of somewhat hate how Jade Raymond's name gets thrown around as like a super important part of the video game industry. Like at the end of the day, she is a studio head and a producer. She didn't have anything to do with the production of Assassin's Creed. She created Ubisoft Toronto and Motive Studios. If you don't remember, Motive made the Star Wars Squadron games. Games, I meant
Yeah.
game. And then recently, she was the director of first party studios at Google, and we all know how that turned out.
Yeah. Oof.
So, but she is a very prominent name in the industry. She has done a lot of things. So I think it's important to have her name out there. I just think there's a lot of people, especially some PlayStation fans out there, that are like, "Oh, we got the creator of Assassin's Creed." I'm like, no. Jade Raymond created the studio and ran the studio. The creator of Assassin's Creed is a French name that I cannot repeat. I forgot his name. but he actually created Ubisoft Montreal, which is the team responsible for the first Assassin's Creed and the second Assassin's Creed, and then pretty much all the good ones. After that, all the crappy ones are done by other Ubisoft studios. But so I just wanted to throw that little nugget out there, like Jade Raymond is. Sony did not just get the person who created Assassin's Creed. That's not what's happening here. They did get a very experienced icon of the video game industry that is now running a team for them that is dedicated to making some multiplayer games. But I think the most interesting thing is, and what a lot of people have been talking about over on some of the Reddits that I interact with and everything, is why Sony did this now. And we can kind of see the influence that Xbox is having on the way that Sony runs their business overall, the way they used to run their business. Sony used to run their business as they would never buy a studio until they had years and years of cultural and professional relationships and trust built up between the two. Think of something like Insomniac. Sony worked hand in hand with Insomniac for most of Insomniac's history, outside of a few outcrops that Insomniac was able to do, a la Sunset Overdrive. And then, finally, after years and years of being with them, Sony buys them. Housemarque. Years and years and years of those two working hand and fist together, Sony and Housemarque, they finally buy them. Now we're seeing a shift. While there is a history in terms of marketing budgets with the Destiny franchise and Sony, there was never like a hand in fist. Obviously Bungie never made a first party game for Sony or anything like that. Sony buys them. Now we see a studio that, while was funded by Sony first off and foremost, hasn't even made a game ever. Sony buys them. We just seen something like Nixxes, which isn't really a production studio, it's more of a port studio, so that is furthering Sony's push into PC gamings. But I think we're seeing a shift in Sony's business relationships and business ideologies to be like, we have to just trust that we know what we're doing and go buy these studios before anything else can happen to them, because we need certain aspects of our core tendency and our core umbrella to exist. I think that's kind of cool. It's also a little scary because, I've said multiple times over and over again, I don't like studios, or I don't like publishers that buy up other publishers. I'm more on board with the Haven acquisitions, the Insomniac acquisitions, Nixxes, if you really care about Nixxes at all. But, Xbox buying, Activision, I'm not super thrilled with. I don't like that. It's in the same vein as Disney buying Fox, or Disney buying whatever they bought next. Disney buys everything. So whatever it is they buy next, I don't like that as much in the video game industry. I like diversity. I want the industry to maintain diversity. I don't want Ubisoft to be bought by anybody, not that it would. I don't want Sony to go out and buy Square Enix, I know is a big rumor. I know there's a big rumor that Sony's going to buy Capcom. I don't want any of that to happen. I want publishers to maintain the independency and have a wide breadth of games that we can play in the industry. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's the way that we're going, but through all my ramblings, the main core is like, I support studios being purchased way more than publishers being purchased than I ever will. But I think this is cool for Sony. It further validates their push and the things that we've been hearing about them behind the scene, that this is what they want for the future. They want a diverse gaming experience, and not just their single party games, but also they want multiplayer games to be a part of their core foundation. We know Guerrilla's working on a multiplayer game. Obviously, Naughty Dog's working on Last of Us Factions. I believe those are the only two major AAA studios, first party, that we know are working on multiplayer games. But now they have Haven. We know Deviation, who is someone who they're in partnership with, is working on an FPS of some sort, from the guys that created the Call of Duty franchise and all that. So we're seeing a huge push. I'm really excited. Even from a guy that doesn't really like multiplayer games, I think being diverse in your studios and the games you have will just make everything that much better. Anything else, my man?
I don't think so.
I rambled on a lot there, let me tell you. So Going on to our second PlayStation story, a new update came out, and while this isn't a huge new story, nothing's important, I do want to talk about some of the cool changes that happened with Logan. I don't know if you've done any research, any of these, look at some of the things that they've changed. They changed a lot with parties and everything. They made it way easier because the shit was annoying to navigate. They changed some of the trophy visualizations. There's a whole list. They changed the app a lot, which I know you engage with the PlayStation app way more than I do. So that'll be something that you will like. Did you go through any of these? Did you look at this list? Did you really see anything that came out?
I mean, the one thing that I didn't even have to see instantly was the party thing. Like, I literally was like getting on PlayStation. I clicked. Wait a minute, this is different.
Yeah,
It's like I don't remember it looking like this. Yeah, I personally really enjoyed that. I liked it a
much
lot.
better change. Yeah, it's much
It's
more.
also really a big thing for the people that have variable refresh rate
Well, it's not out yet.
displays.
It's not
Oh,
out
isn't?
yet. No,
Ah, what?
no. So in this update, they have said it will be out in the next couple months. It's the first time that they've actually acknowledged that it's coming. It's
Okay.
not out here yet. That's why I put that. That's why literally in the document it says it's finally confirmed to be on the way in a couple months. Nice reading technique there.
But yeah, I'm excited for it.
Just
Can't wait.
no clapback from you or anything.
Nope.
Okay, fair enough. There's a huge list of updates and features that you can go through, and they will tell you. I think they changed like 32 different features on the PlayStation 5. Game base has been enhanced. Trophies got a new visual update now on the trophy list. This is something very stupid and small that I enjoyed. The shading on the right hand side of the screen will be the color shading that is the trophy itself. Wow, I stumbled upon that one, didn't I? So like if it's a bronze trophy, the shading on the other side will be bronze, so on and so forth. I think that's cool. Being a trophy guy, I look at my trophy list a lot. So yeah, nothing else. Just the party things.
Yeah, I think the party thing is pretty much the coolest addition to it. And again, um, I guess I don't know why. I guess when I read on the thing, I seen VRR. I assumed it meant that it was out. Um, but I'm excited still to see that coming out. It'd be a really good addition. I would like to actually have a VRR display. That'd be really nice. Um, Down the line, hopefully, I'll be able to get one.
My TV is VR.
I bet you're really excited.
Yes and no. It's still only 60 frames, so I'm not really going to be
It
taking full advantage of it. VRR is really good for 120 FPS displays. So,
Well, it's also really good for 62. It helps with the games that have bad frame pacing.
oh yeah, I know, but most modern day games shouldn't have bad frame pacing. I'm not going to say they don't. I'm saying they shouldn't.
Yeah, they shouldn't, but
We're,
let's
we're,
be honest. Like
we're,
for example, Elden Ring, a good example. If you have an Xbox and you have the VR display, it basically saves that game. It actually makes it feel a lot better and a lot more smooth compared if you didn't have a VRR display. So I'm excited for it. Maybe I'll actually download the PS5 version and have a VR display and actually be able to play that game and not make it feel like it's 45 FPS constantly.
sorry, I was reading something. You ready? Go on.
Yep, I'm
All right,
ready.
our final story, one that I'm very excited about, one that Logan's probably semi excited about, decently excited about. PlayStation's long rumored quote unquote competitor to Xbox. I hate when they say that competitor because it's not. It's their own thing. And it's similar in a way, but it's not trying to be what Game Pass is. As Game Pass is trying to be the core fundament. Fundament? What the hell is a fundament? A, a, a core pillar of Xbox's business strategy. This is not. This is. I don't think this is what Sony wants this to be. But anyway, PlayStation Spartacus, the long rumored and talked about streaming service update to PlayStation Plus that PlayStation has been planning now is rumored to be revealed sometime this week, coming out in the next couple months during this spring. So Logan, being Game Pass fan, I enjoy Game Pass, but I don't love Game Pass. What do you think about this?
If they do it properly, I'm excited. I don't know, it seems a little weird. I have a feeling they're kind of trying to do the Nintendo thing, with the whole holding their backwards compatibility library behind a paywall. Um, so I guess we will see on that.
Well,
Uh,
I think we're gonna see what that paywall is, because the big room is the first tier is everything that we get nowadays. It's just gonna be bundled. Um, it'll officially merge PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, and offer the free games from PlayStation Plus that we know. Uh, the next tier, the more expensive tier, will include all of, well, whatever the lineup is, the PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games into the library. And then the most expensive tier, which is the only one that I think is really confusing, will include the ability to stream games, which PlayStation Now already does that. So I don't know why they would bring that to the very last, and play extended demos, which could be really, really cool, being able to play demos as long as it's openly available for most of the games.
I'm just curious on how they're gonna do the backwards compatibility. I'm really curious to see if they're actually gonna be straight up playable, or are those specifically gonna be streamed like PS Now. Because again, I that's not exciting to me. I don't like streaming games. I don't find it enjoyable. Um, I don't want to have to go upgrade my internet just to go play some basic backwards compatibility games. And especially with the input latency and the jump between one day it's good and the next day it's not. I don't like cloud gaming. So I very curious on how they're gonna do that. Um, I mean, other than that, I mean, as long as they put good games on it and it's worth the price, I'm excited. That's why I like Game Pass. At first, I pushed off Game Pass when it originally came out. I didn't find it worth it, but the fact that they keep coming out with day one games and games that I really want to enjoy to play, and I only spend what $15 a month and I get gold and that, uh, I like it a lot for that reason. It's insanely good value. I mean, it's the best value in gaming right now. It's great. So I'm hoping PlayStation does the same thing. Like I would definitely pay for this if they actually have good service. But I also hope that they don't straight up just hold PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games behind a paywall like Nintendo. That's one thing I don't like about Nintendo at all is the fact that they literally have these games that people can download and play, but they're not going to let you do that because they're going to put it behind a paywall, and I hate that. And I don't know what you think. I mean, I know you don't care about backwards compatibility, but for a lot of people that want to play these games, or for me, who's a new player of some of these PlayStation games, I would like to just straight up buy them, or just have them forever and not have to worry about paying for a subscription just to play it. So I don't know. I'm still a little curious on how they're gonna do this. Again, isn't it? I mean, is that
Well, I
actually
mean, but
like true
Game Pass is
that they're
like
gonna be
that.
bringing
I mean,
back?
if
It's not behind a paywall. I can go buy a game and just put it in my system and play
well,
it.
okay, that's true. I thought you were trying to say that, once you buy a game on Game Pass, you can play it forever. I'm like, no, if I cancel Game Pass, I can't play that game no more.
Well, if you buy it on Game Pass, well, yeah, no. If you get Game Pass, yeah, you don't get to keep all those games
Okay, yeah,
forever.
sorry. I
But yeah,
thought that's what you were saying. I was like, wait, hold up a
no,
second. That's not how
I
that
meant
works.
like if I don't have this service, will they be offering PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games to buy? And if not, how are they? I mean, it's still I wouldn't be excited for the service unless it's like stupid good. Um, the only other thing is like like are these games going to be played through cloud because they still won't be bringing they still haven't really brought up how they're going to be played,
Well,
and they
no.
clearly are saying
Again,
something about it not being they says doesn't offer backwards compatibility with games older than the PS4 era. So
no,
I
that's
don't know.
currently. That's just current.
I'm
PlayStation
curious. Yeah,
currently.
currently, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
But
I'm more just worried on how they're going to do it.
now,
That's what
granted,
I'm thinking.
all this to be taken with a grain of salt. PlayStation has not said anything about any of this going on. This is all rumors, deep dives, people trying to figure things out. We are pretty confident that this is what it's going to be, this general idea. What the complete another deep breakdown of this. Again, Sony hasn't said anything about any of this ever. This is all just rumored stuff. Um, I mean, they've acknowledged that Spartacus exist in whatever form that may take, whatever they're doing. And, there's a lot of things that we've been seeing Sony was doing in the back end, changing some things. A couple weeks ago, there was this weird thing that happened with trophies, where all your PS5 games on trophies showed up as a PS3 logo for the trophy list. So clearly, they've been working on things in the background, figuring some things out, testing some things, seeing what works and what's not. If I was to be a betting man, I would bet we get 3 tiers. First tier being just what it is now with everything combined, PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, or whatever that combo is, coming in at $9.99 a month. Then you get your backwards compatibility tier at $14.99 a month, the exact same that Xbox is. The Game Pass Ultimate, the one that I have to have because of PC and all that. And that allows you to get PS1, PS2, PS3, PS5, PSP, and it'll be a curated list. It's not just going to be open endlessly. Doesn't matter if you own it or not. You're not going to be able to put your PS2 disc into your PS5 and then download the ROM version of that game. It'll be a curated list that you can download and pick from. And then the most expensive tier, which I think is going to be the most useless one, maybe at $19.99, that rumored to include some of these demos and other things, which that tier doesn't make any sense to me. The $14.99 tier makes complete sense to me. Or maybe they'll go with $14.99 being at the top end, $9.99 combo, and then like a $4.99 low end. Because if you think about it, like PlayStation Plus is only $60 a year, and in current stands, so that breaks down to, I don't know, math. Not $10 a month is what that breaks down to. So we could see even lower prices, like a $4.99 first tier to pretty much maintain what you have, $9.99 for backwards compatibility tier, which would be amazing if they charge $9.99 a month for complete backwards compatibility of their list, and then a $14.99 top end list that includes everything that they want to offer with this program. Now, saying all that, that's what I hope. It's probably going to be like, $14.99 low end, $35.99 top end, something stupid that Sony's going to do, and people are going to bitch and complain about it. The good news is, at the end of the day, though, you don't have to buy any of this if you don't want to. I will only buy it if it's financially achievable, and if the list that they come out with, a PS1, PS2, PS3, actually entices me. To respond to you, no, you will not be able to play these games separately.
That's why
that makes zero
I'm not
sense
excited
from a
for it.
business perspective, though. Then people
From
won't.
selling PS3 games
Well, no,
by
because
themselves.
they've already sold the PS3 games. They're not worried about this. They want to sell you this service. So if you're able to just cherry pick the games you want to play, there's no reason to buy this service. So that doesn't make any sense business wise to have that as an option.
Paying more to be buying the games, so technically it would be. If you would want to buy all the PS3 games that you wanted, that would be more than literally doing that service.
But if they include those games on the service, then they want you to buy that monthly service and get you in. That makes way more sense.
Yeah, I'll not be buying this. I'm good. I think holding backwards compatibility behind a paywall is the stupidest thing, but that's just my opinion.
Well, it's the same on Xbox. Everything's not backwards compatible.
I literally go buy a disc. Yeah, but 90%, a good portion of them are, and all you gotta do is just go buy the disc or buy it digitally by itself. Game Pass is just a thing where if you don't have a lot of games or you want some games day one, you have all this value behind it. It's not saying, hey, you can only play 360 games and only play Xbox original games on Game Pass. You can't play anywhere else. You can't buy it separately. You can't put the discs in your system. I think that's a horrible system. I think it's dumb. Cool, if they want to make money, great. Then I'm not going to support them. I don't want to support them on that.
I mean,
if people want to buy and they think it's a good value, then that's your money's worth. If you feel like paying the whatever on Nintendo, that's like $15 a month just to play N64 games and all that on there, good for you. But if I really wanted to, I'll just go download a ROM and download all the Nintendo 64 games for free instead of supporting Nintendo. Because I think that's such a dumb thing to hide backwards compatibility behind a paywall. Heck, I don't care if you charge us for the games more. Like if you want to charge $10-$20 for like the other game, fine. I think that's more worth it because then I own the game. It's my game. I don't have to literally go and pay $10 a month just to play the 3 games I probably want to play on the list. I think that's just such a dumb thing. And that saves me money down the long road than having to literally pay that monthly just to play those games. I just think that's such a dumb system, and I think it's just anti-consumer. And I know it's also just to make them a lot of money. So good for them. I hope they make a lot of money from it, but I know I won't be supporting them on that. I think that's just a bad idea. I think it's a dumb idea.
I
But
mean,
hey, PlayStation is known for its anti-consumer things lately, so maybe that's what they're gonna do anyways. So I'm not surprised.
but I mean, again, it's rumored they could allow you to buy games, and it's not going to be
Yeah,
everything all at once. You don't know. I mean, Xbox has had 5 years to build up the backwards compatibility. When it first came out, there was only 100 games. Now it's
yeah,
632 games. So, I mean, it's 632 out of fucking 2,000 that was released on the 360. So, you
yeah.
know, it's not all of them, but they've also had a lot of time to build that up. So, if if Sony does want to do this, like maybe they only come out with 50 games at first. Like it takes a long time to build this stuff
Oh, I'm not
up.
expecting them to. Yeah, I'm not expecting them to launch with like 600 games. I definitely do not
Yeah.
expect them to do that. But I do just hope, and I also don't expect them to do the disc thing either. I don't care about that. I'm just thinking like they clearly have the library. They could just put the digital games on the library, and then I'd be fine with that. Like I would enjoy that. And I'm not expecting everything to be upgraded to 4K, everything upgraded to 60 FPS. I just want those games to be playable and I can buy them digitally. I would love that. Like to play, I don't know, they had the SOCOM games. If I could literally just buy them and then play them digitally, I would enjoy that. I would love that. Same for the old God of Wars. Like maybe they'll have the God of War collection for PS3. I buy that. I can download it and then I can play it digitally. I would love that. Like that is literally my dream of what they would do with backwards compatibility. I would just love to where they would sell some. Obviously, they're not going to be able to sell everything, and a lot. Obviously, they're not going to be able to sell every PS3 game and every PS2 games because of licensing and all that. And I never expected Xbox to do that either. I mean, Xbox has a ton, but they'll never have all of them because of licensing. I mean, some games they can't even sell digitally because of the licensing, but you could still get the disc version and play it.
Yeah.
But I'm not expecting to go as hard as Xbox did, but I am expecting it would be really not expecting, but I would think it would be cool if they just sold them digitally, and then they can have this membership thing too, where people want to pay for the membership to just play those games, like Game Pass, where it's an option instead of just buying the games. You can get Game Pass, and then that's the good deal behind it. But then they also have it where you can buy these games if you don't want to support paying a membership fee. I like that way a lot more because then it gives you two options. Either you do want to pay that, and yes, it is a good deal. It's like $10 a month to get whatever 70, 100 games. Bam, that's a good deal. But what if you don't? You're like, okay, well, I have a lot pay a membership, but I do want to buy this one game. Then buy that one game. They're still making money out of it. So I I think they should just go with the Xbox path where they sell the games but then also have that membership because that membership will be a good deal, especially for a lot of people because not a lot of people have a ton of video games. Then they can get that membership. It'll be a great deal for them, and they'll be like, "Wow, I got a good deal." But then, like for me, if I already own most of those games or I don't want to play most of those games, I can cherry pick what games I want and pay for them, and they'll still be getting money from me.
I mean, we'll see
But
because they do have that kind of stuff on older consoles. Like on the PS4, you can go buy PS2 games. It's only a certain amount of PS2 games that you can buy.
you could do that too on PS5. There are a few of them. Like
PS2? I
what
don't
was
think
that
on
one game?
PS2.
Yeah, there's some PS2 games that are on PS5 that they brought over a few, like Jack and
Well, Jack got a PS4 release, so.
well, that's what I mean. Like it was a
Well,
PS2
no,
port.
well, no, I'm talking about like they have the PS2 classics on PS4 and the PS3 classics, but it's a very limited list. They never really worked on expanding that, and maybe the reason they never expanded that is because they were planning this and they were working on this, whatever this turns out to be. What the
Yeah,
fuck was that noise?
sorry, that was my chair.
Oh, I was like, that was a weird ass noise coming at me. I will say I'm excited about this. Will I buy it? I'll see what's in each tier. Will I buy the backwards compatibility tier? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. I might do the same thing that I do with Xbox Game Pass, is I buy it, play the game I want to, and then immediately cancel it because I don't feel like continually spending $15 for things I don't play. So that may be how I go about it, because on PC you have to spend $15. You can't. There is no option to spend $10.
Yeah, but it is a good deal though, because you still get also the EA games with it too. So you're getting
Nah,
2 subscriptions in one.
I don't play EA games.
I mean, at least I got to play It Takes Two without even having to pay for it. So
That's
why
true.
I was
That's
like,
true.
that
I
was
paid
worth
for
it.
it. Yeah, but all right, moving on to our next story. As long as we're all good with this, you.
Yep.
All right. Finally, Rocksteady has confirmed the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is delayed until spring of 2023. He says, "I know a delay is frustrating, but that time is going into making the best game we can. I look forward to bringing the chaos of Metropolis together. Thank you for your patience." Now, we knew this game was delayed quite a few months ago. We didn't know till when, but now it's official. We have a whole nother year to wait for this game.
Hey, that's fine with me. No problem here. As long as they come out with a really good game and they put the time in, I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we already talked about delays and how, it doesn't really matter too much. One thing that I will say, though, we'll throw this in here, is, man, Rocksteady has not released a game in a long time.
Yeah, they have not.
Arkham Knight was 2015.
Jeez.
7 years. So, I mean, Rockstar makes games faster than Rocksteady does at this point. Jesus. Now, we do know that Rocksteady had a game that was about 50% done that was canceled by Warner Brothers. And then they came up and then they started working on Suicide Squad ideas. So that is probably the overall reason you put 3 years into a game or something like that, then have it canceled on you, especially a new IP that takes full development, not a sequel. And now you got to come up with a brand new IP. So that'll probably be it. But by the time this game comes out, it'll be almost 8 years since Arkham Knight came out. And the last major game that they put out was Arkham VR in 2016.
Yeah.
Which we can say, I guess, majors, quote unquote. But so that's just one thing. I'm like, man, this game better be good, because if it's not, they just wasted almost a decade of their lives making this game. It'd suck for those people if it's not good.
I mean, they got a lot coming out this year, anyways, from Warner Bros. In general. I mean, they got, Lego Star Wars, Hogwarts. Well, Hogwarts Legacy, I still don't believe is coming out this year. And then Gotham Knights.
Yeah, the next year we got Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad. I would tell you, okay, out of the 3 superhero games that they're making right now, Suicide Squad, Gotham Knights, and Wonder Woman, which one are you more excited for? One we know a bunch about, one we know a little bit about, one we know nothing about. Which one are you thematically more excited about?
I just think I'm really, I don't know. I'm kind of like 50-50 on Suicide Squad. I don't know. I just think the characters are more interesting in Suicide Squad personally than Arkham Knights.
Gotham Knights.
I just don't. Gotham Knights. Sorry. I don't really care for like everyone but one character in Gotham Knights. So I'm more excited for Suicide Squad because I like the characters more. I'm still iffy on it because I don't really know what kind of game it's gonna be, other than it kind of reminds me a lot of Avengers. So I don't know what they're going for with that game.
Suicide Squad
cool.
Is the Avengers, is the Warner Brothers Avengers. Gotham Knights is not. Gotham Knights is just, like we discussed a couple weeks ago, is just a co-op game. It's not trying to be the Avengers. It's trying to be a single-player game that has the option for co-op. It's a lot like the game that we're planning on play together once you buy it.
Oh, you talking about Dying Light 2?
Yeah, Dying Light 2.
Yeah.
It's a single-player first game that has a very deep embedded co-op experience into it. And Suicide Squad is Warner Brothers' answer to Avengers, which I fully believe this game is going to be better than Avengers. What the actual live serviceness of it feels like, that's the biggest thing I'm worried about, because you're taking a studio much like Crystal Dynamics, than a open world, narrative driven single player experience, and then immediately going into 4-player co-op a live service. It's very eerily similar, both these two game stories. Studios behind them do very similar games, similar in terms of very broad ideology and everything like that. Obviously, Tomb Raider is different than Batman, but I'm talking about open world action adventure games. They're both that, and then going straight into 4-player co-op live service game. So we'll see.
Yeah, I am more excited just because of the characters, but I will say the game type, Gotham Knights, is more in line what I would enjoy. So I'm curious about Suicide Squad. Again, the story looks pretty interesting to me, and I'm pretty excited to see what it's all about. But I am more excited in the type of game Gotham Knights is, where it's an actual just story driven game without all of the live service stuff. So I don't know. I am both equally excited and very nervous for the Kill of the Justice League. I'm gonna definitely keep up with that game whenever they start actually releasing more gameplay and details about it, and what kind of live service it's gonna be. Um, but yeah, I mean, Gotham Knights still looks interesting. I just don't really care for most of the characters. I'm more just like the Red Hood. I mean, that's the only guy I really enjoy. I don't really care for any of the other characters.
I mean,
So
I like 3 out of the 4. I mean, I like Red
yeah,
Hood. I love Nightwing. I like Batgirl. I liked the Batgirl single player story that came out for Arkham Knight, the DLC. Robin, everybody hates, so I don't give a shit about Robin. Robin's a little dweeb.
yeah,
But maybe he's really cool. Maybe he's cool. I know depending on what Robin it is, if it's actually like the Ra's al Ghul's son's Robin, who is like super conflicted, very similar to what the New 52 brought us, and some of the more modern day animated WB movies. That Robin can actually be pretty cool. Very similar to like Injustice Robin. Injustice Robin's cool. He's very conflicted. I mean, he's a dickhead, but it's still a cool character. So it depends on what Robin they present. If it's the more old school Robin, that's just kind of just like fanboy and whiny and isn't like this super conflicted nature versus nurture story, which is what the Ra's al Ghul's son plot is with that Robin. If that's what it is, then I'll be much more excited about that character. If that's not what it is, if it's much more the whiny little bitch that is Robin, then I won't care about him as much. But what's funny is we technically have 3 Robins in this game. If you think about it.
that is fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, Red Hood would be the only player, or the only other than that, maybe back, but that'd be the only 2 characters I'd play in that game.
How do you not
So,
like
and I know, yeah,
Nightwing,
that's a
dude?
great.
How do you
I just
not like
don't. Nightwing's. I don't know. He's
I love
boring.
him. Okay, well, what do you have? What do you know Nightwing from? Like, have you watched
Well, from the Arkham
But
game,
he's in
I
one
know him from
game.
that, and I felt.
He's
Yeah,
not
but
even
he was
playable.
still not exciting. Well, he's a little bit playable. You could play him in the, well, yeah, the challenge mode, but
Yeah.
still, I don't know. I guess also don't really like fighting style. I mean, he's just a staff dude that fights with a staff, or he breaks into like 2 batons. I don't know.
Dude, it's so
Seems
cool.
kind of meh.
Oh, dude,
I
no,
don't know.
it's so cool. I mean, he's essentially the only Robin that has succeeded. Nightwing.
Yeah.
He was a Robin. He went through everything. He was trained, and then he went out, and now he controls his own city of Bloodhaven. Granted, Bloodhaven's not going to be in this game. At least I don't think it's going to be in this game. But he's the only Robin to actually succeed. All the other ones suck. One of them died. Spoiler alert. Then he came back. And
Yeah.
said as the Robin we have nowadays, modern times, while an interesting character, he's still fucking annoying and an asshole. Like, Dick Grayson is the only Robin Hood that's like actually good. Or the Robin Hood, Jesus. The only Robin that's actually good, and he went out and like became his own character.
That's fair.
So, anyway.
I don't know.
I was gonna go into
Keep
my
going.
hype level, so I was gonna say I am very excited about Gotham Knights. You know I am. I've been excited about that game. I wish this was the game set in the Arkhamverse, as opposed to Suicide Squad being set in the Arkhamverse, because it makes more narrative sense to me, especially with the Dark Knight being dead in Gotham Knights. Spoiler alert for those of you that have played Arkham Knight, he may or may not be dead. Still, no one knows what happens at the end of that game. But to me, it makes more narrative sense for Gotham Knights to be set in the Arkhamverse, which it's not, which is kind of annoying. But that's the only complaint I have. Suicide Squad. I hope I get addicted to it, very similar to the way I did Avengers. I hope it's something we can all play together. I hope they have fucking crossplay. Oh my god. If they don't
I
have
mean, I'd probably
crossplay,
get it on PlayStation,
oh,
the
okay,
Suicide Squad.
fair enough.
Yeah,
And
because
then
just
Wonder
no
Woman.
one else I'd be playing with. So
Wonder Woman, I am very excited about the game in my head. What I picture the game being in my head, because it is from Monolith. It is from the people that made Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. Shadow of Mordor being the much better game, but and I know it has the Nemesis system, which could be cool with like a rogues gallery. Don't know don't know exactly how that's going to play out at work overall. But I think that combat, I think Shadow of War combat with Wonder Woman like ability and style, I think it's gonna be super neat, super interesting. Open world, we know it is super cool. Hopefully, you get to fly around and do things as Wonder Woman. So I would say, honestly, in my excitement, it goes Gotham Knights, theoretical Wonder Woman, if it is what it is in my head, and then Suicide Squad. But I'm still excited about all three of these games. It's a super.
yeah,
Those superhero games. I love superheroes. So, anything else you got? You never did talk about Wonder Woman.
there's not really much to say right now. I feel like I don't really have much of an opinion because there's not really anything that they've really shown other than just talk about details.
Oh yeah, you can
So I'm
theorize
I'm
though.
more I'm not excited right now because like there's nothing to really look at to see what it's other than the basic details that it's open world and it's using that the same well, I'm hoping they're using the Nemesis system since they
They've already announced
kind of
they
don't
are.
let anyone else use it. So
Yeah, that is one thing
which is
that's kind of
annoying.
shitty. Yeah, it's kind of crappy. But they have actually announced that it does have the Nemesis system in it. Which again, I think it's kind of theoretically cool, but like they can't do that against the Rogues Gallery because there's not an endless amount of villains that she has to fight. So
Yeah, that's what I'm curious
I
on
don't
how
know
they're
how
going to
they're gonna
use
do that.
it in that.
Anyway,
Yeah.
why don't you introduce the next story since you want to talk about? Oh, I guess I can introduce it real quick and then you can talk a little bit about it because you have a very vivid opinion on it. Rockstar has announced a new subscription service for Grand Theft Auto Online, creatively entitled GTA Plus. It will only be available for the next generation of consoles, as in the PlayStation 5, Xbox X, and X, and will launch in, well, the day this comes out, March 29th. GTA Plus will cost $5.99 per month and provide subscribers with a recurring monthly bank deposit of 500,000 GTA dollars, whatever they're called, ensuring players have plenty of cash to spend in the online open world. There will also be a wide range of member-only bonuses, including exclusive properties, vehicles, upgrades, discounts, and cash slash RP bonuses, like whatever, I guess Rockstar points. Rockstar also mentioned that there will be the ability to unlock gameplay updates that you may have missed out on, suggesting previously time limited content may be accessible with GTA Plus. Logan, take this away.
Oh man. Rockstar, I don't know where they're going. Like they have become so greedy now. To the like I know they've been greedy, but this is like insanely greedy now. For the first thing, this is only this okay. They come out with this new version of GTA 5, which by the way, they overcharge in my opinion. Like I said in the last podcast on especially Xbox at least. I think it's really dumb how you have to pay like $40 for both online and campaign when it should just come with the campaign. Um, which is just dumb in general. And then now they're trying to literally make people pay a membership just to get money and bonuses, which the issue is too, they're making it very exclusive things for this, which I'm sure it's just going to get worse and worse throughout the year with this exclusive content where they basically are going to literally mostly force you to literally get this stupid membership just to do certain things. I think this is the dumbest thing ever. It shows Rockstar is even more greedy than ever, which really scares me, which makes me think that I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what they're gonna do with the next GTA game. Like, I don't know. They've become so greedy to the point where I think they just don't even care anymore. Like, they just know they're making money off of GTA 5, and they're not putting any attention into anything else but GTA 5 anymore. I don't know. I just think it's a dumb. It's dumb. Hope no one ends up subscribing to this, but I know people are. I think this is just a dumb thing that just shows that they can keep getting money from us from the same game they came out with in 2013. I don't know. This is dumb. I full heartedly disagree that this should be a thing. I think it's dumb. I don't. I think it's dumb that they're trying to milk more and more money from their customers and their fans when they already make it so bad online in general just to get stuff in the game. Now they are trying to. I mean, they even have a thing in here where, uh, additionally, GTA Plus members can purchase members only shark cards that come with extra bonus cash. Wow. Thanks, GTA. Thanks, Rockstar. This this is so dumb. Like, I'm honestly surprised they didn't start this earlier than now. But yeah, I don't know. This is dumb. I hope it fails. I hope it doesn't last long. And I hope Rockstar gets a big slap in the face from its customers. Because honestly, they're not helping themselves now. They already have a bad reputation as is right now. And then adding this is just adding more salt to the wound. So yeah, I personally just hope this fails. And I hope they just, they learn from this. Because I think this is dumb. But there are going to be people that are going to subscribe to it. I know.
Oh, there's gonna be
No
a whole
matter
bunch of
what,
people.
you
Yeah.
can't stop everyone. There are going to be subscribe to it because maybe this is the only game they play. Which I guess if this is literally the only game you play, I mean, I guess it's not bad, but it's still dumb that you would like. It's just the fact that the way that they make the grind online just to get stuff in the like online mode, this just adds even more of a hey, like, I mean, the game already was pretty pay to win in a sense, but now this is just even more showing just how dumb they are being with this. Like, they're putting all this money in, doing all this stupid stuff, but yet, and this isn't the review for the game, but this is just more like, what about Red Dead? What are they doing with Red Dead?
Yeah.
Like,
Can I
did
get
they
a
forget that they?
can I get a next gen Red Dead, please?
Yeah, like, I'll pay $20 to get Red Dead Redemption 2 again. Heck yeah, I would enjoy that. I mean, I love Red Dead, so that's
I
why.
thought of
I
something the
mean,
other
that's
day.
just me.
You want to hear something crazy? I thought of something the other day.
What?
Cyberpunk 2077 got a next gen upgrade before Red Dead Redemption 2 did.
Yeah, that's true. And GTA didn't even really add that much when Cyberpunk did.
Yeah, Cyberpunk has made lots of changes. Granted, I don't know any of those. Well, I know of them. I just haven't experienced them yet, which I really do want. I think I am going to make April a pretty much a 2-game month. Lego Star Wars and Cyberpunk. Because I'm looking at the list here, and there's not short of things that aren't announced yet. It's not too much. So we're getting off topic real quick. I'm not gonna play the show because I play MLB the Show every couple years. I normally don't go back to back to back with them. Chrono Cross, Mabley. What the fuck is Mabley? Mabley. Maybe, probably not though. Now, one thing that did get announced recently that I'm quite interested in is the House of Dead remake. Did you see this? It got announced last week actually, or earlier this week.
Really?
Yeah, there's a whole House of Dead remake coming out for the Nintendo Switch, and it's like got a whole bunch of stuff redone in it. I believe it's the entire trilogy. Anyway,
I love
then
those games. Those games are super cool.
the only other one, obviously, Switch Sports comes out the very end of the month, and then Star Wars: The Force Unleashed comes out on April 20th. So I may give that one my I don't know 8th playthrough. I have no clue how many times I beat that game. I beat the game so many times. Played through it most recently on Steam. Realized how much it's really not that great of a game, but it's a really fun Star Wars game. But like there's a lot of things about the game that aren't great,
Yeah.
Okay, going back to GTA, sorry. I just wanted to throw in the Cyberpunk comment there. Because anytime
Very
I can
good.
compare a game to Cyberpunk that Cyberpunk does better, I want to do it. So one thing I did want to
I mean,
ask
there's
you
not really
though.
much.
Well, one
Oh,
thing I
yep.
did want to ask you, sorry for interrupting, is like why? Why now? Why do you think this is happening? Would just got GTA 5 next gen. Now we're hearing all these rumors, and the rumor mill is really hyping up and expanding on GTA 6. So you have all this forward momentum after the catastrophe that was the trilogy. Why drop this in? Because you know this isn't going to be received well by most gamers. Most gamers don't like this kind of stuff. It said unless you are the dedicated of the dedicated and you play this game for 4 hours a day, you play GTA Online. If you do that, you are gonna love this. If you don't do that, if you're just a regular gamer and you're scrolling through your Twitter and you see this, you're gonna have the exact same reaction that Logan had. It's like, well, this is dumb and stupid. It's just more pay to win, makes me not want to play GTA Online even more than I already didn't want to. So why?
I honestly, I think it's just stupidity and the suits that work at Rockstar asking for more money when they've already gotten plenty of money and milked this game dry already. But no, they're like, oh, we can milk it more. We'll make a membership. That'll make people really love this game even more. It's like, what? Like, they already, okay, so one positive thing they did just to go before this. When GTA Online launched on this next gen consoles, they actually added a consumer friendly, I would say, I guess, thing where now when you start new, you don't start from scratch like you used to. You'd start and you would just be, this lonely, like trying to find jobs, gangster or whatever you want to be, because it's role playing in a sense. Um, but now when you start off with a good amount of money and you start off with a business, which I don't even have with my character, and you can, start off pretty strong. It was a good way to start online. But this is just the opposite of that. It's them saying again, like, oh, you want that car that we just made. And I know you'd have to grind and maybe do like two heists just to get that vehicle. Well, what about we just give you a membership that's only $6 a month, and then we're gonna make exclusive content so you could shove it in your friend's face, and then they want to go buy this membership. I, it's just so dumb, and it even like who I mean, again, it's the suits that work at Rockstar that probably brought this stupid idea up. They probably don't care. Obviously, they don't care about the consumers. I mean, obviously, if they cared about the consumers, they would be updating Red Dead Redemption 2, the game that literally came out in 2018, that they literally have completely disregarded at this point. Like, you don't hear anything about that game, but that game was still very successful. It wasn't as successful as GTA 5 because of its online mode, but it still made a ton of money, and yet they literally just disregarded it because like, well, we can't do as much as we do with GTA 5, so we're just going to disregard that game and act like it never existed.
Speaking
Like,
of, real quick, the money that GTA 5 has made, in a report from November of last year over the third quarter, sales. So we still have another quarter plus all the new sales that they got from the next gen version. GTA 5 has sold more, GTA 5 has surpassed 155 million copies, accompanying for over $6 billion in revenue.
yeah.
And that's not including everything they've done since, September of last year after the quarter ended. So
And they make a ton of money off of their microtransactions already with their shark cards. Like, why do they need to add more? Like, you already have a big enough problem with shark cards in general, which a lot of people don't agree with. People would more want you to actually just make things cheaper and not raise prices, so then people would be more willing to buy those shark cards. Um, but now they're adding this membership so that exclusive content will be stuck behind it, so that if you want to pay it and get that exclusive content, which I'm sure it's going to get worse. Like, they right now they're starting off simple, but I guarantee this membership is only going to get worse, and they're going to add very important things, like probably like very exciting things to it that people are going to want, and keep it behind that paywall. And literally, that's why even more makes me mad. Like, I don't play GT Online, but still, this is just really stupid and further shows how greedy Rockstar is. I mean, it's just dumb. Like they should be focusing on what they're good at and maybe listen to their fans just a little bit, but I guess they just forgot that they have fans and they just want to charge us and milk as much money out of us as possible. Which again, I hope this fails, and it also maybe they get a big slap in the face from their fan base because literally like what are they doing? Like I feel like within the last year they've just been doing nothing but bad things when they literally should be trying to focus on fixing their problems instead of adding more problems onto their already big problems. I mean, GTA trilogy, no one's forgotten about it. You're still very badly messed up with that game and still have not fixed it at all. I actually watched a video on it the other day and it's still not really fixed.
What do you
So
think though about this new service coming exclusively to PS5 and PS4 versions of the game? Sorry, PS5 and Xbox X and X versions of the game. So just the next
honestly,
gen
I'm
versions.
surprised
That seems a little
because
weird.
that's really weird. I don't get that move because especially they definitely do not have anywhere as big of an audience as they do on still PS4,
Yeah. So pretty much
Xbox, and
what we're looking at
PC.
here, if you break down the numbers, for those of you that are playing GTA Online on quote unquote what is now last generation consoles, you have to have a $10 or $20 upgrade fee to the next gen version. So you're already $10 to $20 in the bank there. And now it's a $5.99 per month subscription service if you want these extra added bonuses. On top of that, for a game that came out 9 years ago, almost 9 years ago, 8.5 at this point. This is where I don't like modern day gaming. I don't like the
Yeah.
longevity. I mean, it's cool that this game has lasted so long. That's awesome for the people who play it. Can we just move on, please? Like, put out the next one. Just move on. This is
Or at
why.
least focus on your new game that came out in 20. What I just don't get that. Like they came out with the game in 2018, they didn't even really give it a try, and they just. I mean, even during when Red Dead Redemption 2 is still being worked on, they still mainly all their advertisements were still pushed towards GTA 5. It's like
Yeah, the
just
online and
get
everything.
over it. GTA 5 is nowhere close as popular and never will get probably anywhere close as popular as it used to be. And just like you're almost killing your game by doing this stuff. Like you're literally making yourself look worse and more greedy by the years. Like just stop. Just let GTA Online be its thing and start focusing on production with GTA 6 and stop focusing so much on this GTA Online. I mean, honestly, if anything, I have a feeling they're going to come out with a free to play game, and it's going to be GTA. I mean, it pretty much has become that. We pay for it, and then it's just a free to play online thing where literally, they charge you with all these microtransactions. And now they're trying to make you get a membership just to get bonuses and stuff. It's stupid. I feel like in general, I don't understand why memberships like this exist because I felt like that's such an old way of doing things like back in the day with like for example a game that me and my wife played recently that's like a really dumb Disney MMO Toontown where like those games where you used to have to pay a membership to get certain things and do certain things like that's such an old way of thinking with games. And you know what happens to most of those games? They all fail, they all die a miserable death, and literally that's what's going to happen in GTA 5. Putting this membership in here, which I know is only going to get worse, they're going to make GTA 5 die the most miserable death with this thing, and it's going to kill it. So yeah, I think it's a dumb idea, and I hope enough people make them change their mind and get rid of this stupid GTA Plus thing because it literally just makes them look worse than they already do. What do you think?
Hold on, I'm trying to pull up some stats real quick. All right, here we go. So, you want to know why they keep supporting GTA 5? As
Why?
of 1 hour ago, Well, nope, sorry. As of 51 minutes ago, it updates every hour. There were 115,000 people playing GTA 5. As of 52 minutes ago, there were 2,637 playing Battlefield 2042. I just wanted to throw that rip in there.
Oh,
That's sad.
I
I'm
was
just
that wait.
saying,
You're just throwing the rip
outside of that
to
rip,
me. I was like, I don't
100,
care.
115,000 people still playing this game. That's a shit ton of people, man.
I mean, yeah, I mean the online is fun. Some of the missions are, but like I just don't get why they just this membership thing is just
Well,
like I don't know.
I'm just playing devil's advocate, as in that's why they're still supporting this, because
Oh yeah,
115 people. I mean, let's look at Red Dead Steam player right now. Go. Red Dead Steam charts. Yeah, 26,000 are playing Red Dead Redemption 2 as opposed to 115,000 are playing GTA 5. That's why one game gets support and the other game doesn't. I mean,
but
that's
you want to know why? Because Red Dead stopped getting support and they didn't add any content. That's why the game is dying. They've literally constantly being added new stuff to GTA. They barely add anything to Red Dead. Even when it first came out online, they still barely added any content. They killed it themselves. They already knew it probably wasn't going to last, so they killed it even before it even started.
yeah.
Red
But
Dead was dying.
I will tell you, I mean, the reason they support GTA is because it is more popular. All-time peak
Yeah.
on Steam, Red Dead Redemption 2 is 55,000 players.
Yeah.
All-time peak on GTA 5, 360,000. Like, it's not even close. One is more popular than the
Yeah.
other. Now, while I think Red Dead is significantly better than GTA, especially the last two iterations, even with Red Dead Redemption as opposed to GTA 4, the previous one, I think Red Dead's better. I love the first Red Dead. But, what we think about games and what the populace thinks about games isn't very rarely ever lines up.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
GTA has never been as low month to month since its release, has never been as low as Red Dead Redemption 2's top. I mean, that's it right there, my
yeah.
man. That's why ones keep going and
Well,
one
yeah,
dies.
that's why well, yeah. Well, I mean, also again,
It
as
sucks.
I
I
said,
get it. Believe me. It
they
sucks, but
straight up did not support Red Dead even when it first launched with its online. It didn't get anywhere close to the support that it did for GTA 5. But I mean, that's just also because Rockstar split on its community. Like some people like both, and some people just really don't like Red Dead because of Western stuff, and they don't like horses and all that because
I
they
love.
like their fast cars, their modern day, and all that, and that's fair. And I'm not gonna hate on people. I think everyone has their own opinions on that. So, and yeah, GTA 5, I had a feeling was gonna, you know, beat Red Dead anyways because there's not really a lot they could do with Red Dead other than, I mean, they did add some cool stuff. I think if they would have added heists, it would have helped a lot too for Red Dead, but they didn't. And they just kind of made it basically an okay story mode with some story elements in it. But yeah, it sucks, but I do hope this GTA Plus thing doesn't last, and I hope GTA doesn't think like GTA 5 is the end all be all. I'm really curious when GTA 6 comes out what they're gonna do, how they're gonna do it, because them having to move away from GTA 5 is probably gonna be the hardest thing Rockstar has ever done. So
Yeah.
I'm curious on how GTA 6 is gonna go because they would have to like beyond nail GTA 6 online to even come close to what they have at GTA 5
I
online.
mean, do you think they're smart? Well, no. Well, yes, the one they're smart, but do you think they'll be smart and be like, all right, we're setting up this new world. You can transport your player into it, or do you think it's a
That
start
would
from
be
scratch?
interesting.
Or do you
That would
or do
be
you think it's
interesting.
a start from scratch thing?
I think it's gonna be start from scratch.
Which would probably make more sense. Like it would probably depending because GTA 6 is gonna be placed in an entirely different world. Theoretically, I guess we don't know that it's not in San Andreas slash Los Santos. That would be really dumb. But um, so I don't have anything else to say on it. I just think the reason why you're still getting this. I kind of answered my own question is because it's still popular. There's still
Yeah, it is.
hundreds.
You're not
I
wrong.
mean, 100,000 people are playing it right now. 115,000 are playing it right now on Steam. It's not even including console plays.
I just hope this greediness doesn't start to like it doesn't seem like it does because everyone thought Red Dead Redemption 2 was going to be not everyone. That's kind of a bad statement. I meant like there was a portion of people that thought Red Dead Redemption 2 was going to be a bad game because of the greediness of GTA 5. But in my opinion, as I said in our top 10, Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. It is my favorite game of all time. Never mind. It was my number one. So, and like obviously I guess I can't really have that worry, but I do still have that worry in the back of my head too that maybe the next GTA won't be that good. Or they're not gonna put as much effort into the next story and they're gonna again put way more focus into the online. I hope they don't, I hope they do put a lot of effort into the campaign like they did with Red Dead again. But yeah, I am kind of surprised at this point that they just haven't made an MMO that's GTA and just get done and over with. You'll have an ongoing online game and it'll be your MMO that lasts forever. Because that's pretty much what GTA 5 Online is. It's an MMO. There's quests, there's a bunch of people in the world. You go, you can make businesses and do all these things. Like, I don't know. I'm curious to see where they move with the next GTA and how they're going to do the next GTA after what success they've had with GTA 5. Are they going to do the Red Dead Redemption 2 and literally kill its online within the first month and then literally just go back to GTA 5 because they know it's popular already? Or are they going to take the dip and actually cancel GTA 5 online? And well, they probably won't cancel it right away, but they'll move on to GTA 6 online or GTA Online as it is. Or I have another theory. Since GTA Online is now a separate entity, are they just going to update the engine? I don't know. I'm curious of where they're going to go with
I
it.
think that last one is the most likely. They're just going
Yeah,
to update GTA Online, which I don't know if people would be happy with. But like, how do you? I mean, you're talking about. Well, that's why I think maybe. Oh, see that because that just doesn't make sense.
because they would want it in the new map.
I guess they could go
With
like
GTA
as you
6.
said, like maybe like an amalgamation of MMO slash on GTA Online. Like you have your Los Santos. They update the engine, they re-release the game, and now you can go to whatever Vice City, wherever GTA 6 is, and you have both
Yeah,
of those cities to play around at.
that would make
But
sense
now we're talking about
in
like
my
a
opinion.
massive, as you said, an MMO
Yeah.
that requires, MMOs require monthly subscriptions to play, so it would make sense a little bit. I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
I'm curious on what they're going to do with that. Like I
Do you have
wonder if
anything else?
they clear no. No.
Sorry, I literally just interrupted your sentence. I apologize.
Oh, you're fine.
My brain was thinking about something else. So
I'm ready to move on.
okay, real quick, we got two stories. One of them will be short. The other one will actually flip into our point of the show. So let's get the short one out of the way. Halo Episode 1 came out this week, and we've gotten a little bit of critical response and some audience response, and we just kind of wanted to go over it and talk about it. So for those of you who haven't looked at it or haven't been paying attention, Halo Season 1 right now has a Metacritic score, critical reception of 61, and the user score is slightly higher at 6.5. So not terrible by any means, but I also don't think it's what people would want from a Halo show. Logan, did you ever get a chance to watch this? What do you think about the reception and anything else? I guess.
I am actually very surprised right now. I'm exceptionally surprised. I mean, for a video game based thing, that's not a bad score. Especially any media with video game, anything, movies, etc. Like that's pretty impressive. Um, I actually am very tempted to watch this show. Actually, with Game Pass right now, they have a bonus for a 30-day free trial for Paramount Plus. So I am actually really tempted to get that. I might wait a little bit because it's still available till May something, May 25th. So towards the end of the show coming out, I might do that so I can watch the entire show all in one go. Because I want to watch the show. That's the only reason I want Paramount Plus is I just want to watch the show because I'm curious to see what it does, and I'm curious to see if the score actually lives up to it. And also, I'm curious to see on how bad the face thing is going to be with him taking off his helmet. But the fact that it has this score and people aren't saying it like it's not overwhelmingly negative like I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like mostly negative, but in general, it's not. It's favorable actually. So like that's impressive. So I'm kind of really interested to watch it. Some of the scenes I've seen, I mean, the CGI isn't the best. They definitely did not have the best budget for the show, um, but it still looked pretty cool. So I'm gonna give it a watch. I'm a Halo fan, so I'm gonna have to. I want to watch it. Low key, I really do want to watch the show. I've always wanted a live action Halo, so this is pretty exciting. But also, ever since they've been talking about all that weird stuff, I was nervous. But to see the score, I'm not gonna obviously go off of basically just mainly what a score is, but I, from what I've been hearing, it's not the worst, and it's also it's not like middle. It's like a little bit. It's still good, but it's not amazing. So I obviously didn't expect it to be amazing because I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of worried about all these video game shows coming out. I don't know how any of them are gonna be because no, for some reason, just the film industry and anything with like TV, they don't focus on what the original stuff was and they try to make their own thing from it. So I am curious on how all the other ones are going to be too, but still 61 ain't too bad, and I'm going to end up giving it a watch. I am definitely going to watch it actually.
Yeah, I will watch it on May 19th, 2022.
Yep.
That's when the last episode airs, and that's when I'll binge all of it. But real quick, I wanted to read before we move on the critical consensus. It says Halo is too derivative a better science fiction series to emerge a fully formed elite, but glimmers of promises and faithfulness to the source material. First of all, that's a fucked up sentence. Signal it's not out of the fight just yet. Faithfulness to the source material? What? I'm sorry. Did the people reviewing this thing not understand the source material at all? Probably not, but
Yeah, probably not.
yeah, that one glimmers of promise and faithfulness to the source material. That's the exact opposite of what this show is, from my understanding.
Well, one thing, I don't know what other stuff they do, what other story elements they put into it. Again, I'm really curious to watch it and see my opinion because I know a lot about the lore of Halo and what it is with Master Chief and his squad and Dr. Halsey, which is all in this show. Supposedly, Dr. Halsey's in it. So I'm really curious. Um, I'm really curious what connections they're gonna have with the actual lore. Uh, but the helmet thing is a big. This is gonna sound weird. A big no-no. So I don't know. I'm curious what connections they do have to the main one. I mean, clearly there must be some connection to the main story. Probably that there's Covenant and then there's USC and they're fighting. That's the connection. But who knows?
What if
We'll
there's
see.
what if there's no covenant in this game, this show?
Well, spoiler alert, there is from what
Uh,
I've seen.
I have not been paying attention to this thing at all. I'm going to watch it, but I'm
Or was
just
it the government? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I know there was an elite.
I have
So maybe I'm
lost
kind of jumping.
I have lost the plot of Halo, so maybe the fact that this is kind of a resetting would be good. Maybe it's something for me to grip onto, but I have lost the plot of Halo a while ago. So,
I don't blame you, especially with Halo 5. Halo 5 is the biggest jump
well,
on.
not
I,
just
I
that, it's
still don't
just
even
there's
know.
just so many books, there's so many other things, and it's a lot like Star Wars used to be. Is there's so many things. Granted, I read a lot of it, but there's still stuff. Looking back on it today, I have no clue. There's still things I don't know. So, one thing, before we move on to a final story, I wanted to bring up two things. One, I found this new drink. So you know, Logan, I like the packets of flavor in my water. That's pretty much how I drink my
Yeah.
water. Yeah. Uh, Well, yesterday Peyton put a order in for Walmart, and it got delivered, and it came with two things that we did not order: Skittles water packets.
Oh, okay.
And, it's just like the other water packets. It's super super low calories. So, but I'm drinking the strawberry right now, and guess what? It tastes like strawberry Skittles.
Well,
Just super cool. I know that
huh.
sounds redundant, but like, how many times have you drink in like liquid form of something, and it's just like, it kind of gets it, but no, this thing tastes like Skittles. It tastes like I'm drinking candy water with no calories,
Huh.
or 5 calories.
That sounds good.
It's only $5 for a 40 pack. You should go try it out.
Huh. I probably will actually. That sounds super good.
All right, and the second thing I wanted to bring up for the last story. Hey, you can just click on the hyperlink in the article, right? I see you messing around and all that, highlighting things. I don't know what you're
Oh
doing
no, I
there.
am. Oh, I've just been
No,
clicking around.
I was like,
That's all.
I watch you highlight the hyperlink and then I guess copy it. You can just click on the hyperlink, right?
No, I haven't been highlighting it. I literally haven't been. I've been just clicking on it, so I don't know what you're seeing.
No, that's horseshit. You've totally been highlighting it. Unless
No,
maybe,
I
unless
promise you, I
maybe
haven't.
it highlights itself when you click on the hyperlink.
Yeah, because that's what I've been doing. I've just been clicking on it.
Oh, I was sitting over here laughing at you because I was like, man,
Oh,
stupid Mac user doesn't know how to work things.
jeez.
All right, moving on to our last story, which will meld into our point of the show. After 5 long years, you can finally create blah 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 blah. Let's try that one again, huh? After 5 long years, you can finally create folders on your Switch homepage. So, Nintendo Switch version 14.14 updates, Jesus. Alongside improvements to Bluetooth audio volume, and lets users create up to 100 groups with a max of 200 games per group. So, I know this sounds really weird to someone who doesn't play video games. You're like, oh wow, like you can create folders. Hey, technically you can't do that on the PS5 yet. Even
Yeah,
though
they took that away. Wasn't it on
yeah.
the PS4?
Oh yeah,
Pretty sure it was.
yeah, absolutely. I never used it because I thought it looked ugly. I like having seen the actual games, and the PS5 UI did get its own update with the new thing. Obviously, we talked about it. Now it shows
Yeah.
15 games. Yeah, 15 instead of like 8 or something. And you can actually pin things to the main homepage. So, like, say, for example, a game you go back to a lot, you can pin that to that, and it'll always be first on the list, or close to the first of the list.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, anyway, I don't know how much you want to say about folders, but this wraps perfectly into our point of the show. So, do you have anything on the folders and the new Bluetooth audio settings, which it says allows for the volume of Bluetooth audio devices to be adjusted by either the switch or the controller buttons on the device itself? Wow.
Woo!
What an upgrade.
Um,
God, I'm cynical.
obviously the Bluetooth upgrade was exciting. Anyways, it took them literally forever to add that. But folders is always a good.
Hey, but now you can control the volume of your Bluetooth device.
Ooh. Well, I thought you already were. You weren't able to do that before. I thought you could.
Apparently not, because that's a part of this new update.
Well, that's weird. But the groups is always a good addition. I mean, on Xbox I use it a little bit. Like I made I don't really use it as much as I used to, but I did make like folders of like games I need to beat and classic games and like co-op games. So like when people used to come over, I would like just click on the co-op games and it would have all my co-op games. So we could just select from those. I do like the folders option. I think they could be very useful. But if you don't have a lot of games, obviously the folders aren't that useful. I mean, it's really not that hard to pick from your few games that you have.
Okay,
But
I just want to
still a
interrupt you real
good
quick.
addition nonetheless.
I was reading the article, and in order to see your groups, you have to scroll all the way over to all software.
That's kind of lame.
So it doesn't
need to add that to the front. That's weird.
It doesn't show up on the homepage. So the homepage is the same, but if you want to scroll over all the way to all software, then you can put the games into groups, and then you can go to your games from there.
That's convoluted.
Oh, Nintendo, we love you. But on that point of us laughing at Nintendo, let's go on to our point of the show. Logan, do you have anything else on any of the stories we talked about before we move on?
Nope.
Okay, so in this point of the show...
Wait. One quick thing. This
Okay.
is a news thing I forgot to bring up last week. For you, Mike, and this may not be that big of a deal, but if you do end up liking Dying Light 2 when we play, Dying Light 1 actually got a free next gen upgrade for both Xbox and PS5.
I
That was
pl-
just a quick out there update
I've
for
played
you
Dying
if
Light
you would
1.
ever want to play. I thought you said you didn't play Dying Light 1.
No, I've played
I
it.
thought we brought that up.
I never beat it, but I played it.
Oh, well, they have a next gen upgrade for it. That's free. That's
Well,
pretty cool. I
nah,
just thought I'd bring that up.
I'll just play the sequel.
That's fair.
Okay, so my audio levels just spiked like crazy. Oh, okay, so in this point of the show, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about the past, present, future of Nintendo. Okay, more importantly, the Switch itself. So we're going to talk about things that we like, things that we don't like, some weird ass Nintendo decisions that they keep making. Where are some things that I want? Where are some things that Logan wants? Anything going future past forward with this? Wait, future past forward. That doesn't make sense. Well, we're going to stick with it. F it. So I want to start off with just talking about and giving props to the state of the Switch in 2022. Now, I will say this is one of the greatest video game consoles ever made, bar none. In terms of success, in terms of media, in terms of games, in terms of the wider reaching, what am I trying to say? Like the wider reaching group of gamers that it's reached and the expanse that is done for video games as a whole. I wanted to start the house with giving all the props to Nintendo that I possibly can for making one of the most successful video game consoles of all time. Logan, do you have anything to say on the current state of the Switch?
I mean, not really. Just it's really awesome to see that it sold so much, and that it's literally in the top 3 video game consoles of all time.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
It'll
Well, what
be
about
number
you?
2. It'll be number 2 at the end of it. Well, I just want to talk about, what do we like about it? What do you don't like before we get into the things that we want to change and everything? Just obviously, just like let's just talk about it. So, what are some things you love about the Switch?
Well, obviously, what it is, the Switch. I love the fact that you could take it. I've always loved it ever since. So, like the first time I ever seen the Switch, I wasn't really paying attention to Nintendo anymore. I stopped paying attention after like the Wii and the 3DS. Um, but then they came out the Wii U, and the Wii U just like literally flew under my radar. Never ever cared to get it. Never looked interesting. I seen like maybe one person ever in my entire life actually playing it. So that was really interesting.
Wait,
I never owned one.
are you talking about the Wii U?
Yeah, I never owned one.
You
Never
know,
played one
you know,
ever in my life.
you know someone who has one.
Well, but I've
Yeah.
never played it. It's so weird. Like I've
Oh,
never ever touched a
I
Wii U in my
I
life.
can get it out and set it up for the next time you come back.
I kind of want to see what it's like. I've
All right.
never seen a Wii U or
All right.
played one.
Yeah. Next time you come
Um,
down, I'm a dig it out and set it up. All right.
okay,
All right. Cool.
but
Moving on.
That's what I love about the Switch is like it basically did what the Wii trying to do, but nailed it. But I mean, I guess the Wii U did it a little bit differently. Like, yeah, you could play the Wii U in your house wirelessly, but then also it had like the thing where you could play games, but you have the D-pad thing where you interact with the D-pad with the games. Switch is just better because I like what they basically took with the failure that is Wii U and literally just made what they were trying to do and did it way better. And that's what I love about the Switch. I still will always love the Switch because it is the most unique console to ever exist in my opinion. It is like the perfect mix between what they've been trying to do for years, where literally it's a portable console and it's a home console built into one. And it is like it's so perfect because like people want to play on the go, or they're on a bus ride, maybe they're doing laundry, I don't know, anything. Or if they just want to bring it to their friend's house and play it. Like that's it's so portable, but it's also great because like if you're at home, you just put it in, you play it on the TV, and that's what I love about it. I have brought it around all the time. Like when I used to go to like doctor's appointments and stuff like that, I'd bring it with me and I'd play games. Or when I was at college, I played it a lot too on the go. Even when I was waiting for, I'm pretty sure I brought it one time when I first got it to before I went to my college class. I was playing it out in the hallway. Um, It's so cool, and I love that, like, it's super portable, and I also love that fact that it's a very, very good home console at the same time. That's my biggest positive, and also that if you think about it from when the time it came out, it is the most visually impressive portable console at the time. It was just super cool. I mean, that was like straight up, it blew my mind when my dad got it for the first time, and he let me play Breath of the Wild, and I was just so impressed with how good that game looked on such a small little system. And and like when the first time I took the console and I put it into the dock and it just instantly popped up on the TV, that was so freaking cool. And then it was like it was something I've never seen before, and I'm still amazed to this day about it because I just think it's so cool that like I could be playing a game and then I can walk in and put it in the dock and then it just pops up on the TV and it still looks really good. Obviously, that's where I would get to the problems that I would have today
Well,
is the fact
let's save the
that
problems for a second, all right?
oh, we're just all the way okay. We'll stay
Yeah,
positives
we'll
and
just stay
the
positive right
other
now.
okay, and the other positives is just I think a lot of the games they came out with are some of the best Nintendo's ever come out with, in my opinion. Phenomenal. I mean, especially that launch year, they came out with some of the best games they've ever had, and like I mean, Breath of the Wild is still amazing, and it's crazy that both that and Mario Odyssey came out in the same year. Um, and just like a lot of games I really enjoy, like Fire Emblem Three Houses, Pokemon. I mean, I don't really like the other Pokemons, but for a lot of people that are big Pokemon fans, they really enjoyed it a lot. Those Pokemon games, Pokemon Arceus, I really liked a lot. Um, I've been playing a lot of the party games. I like doing party games on there a lot. It's like the perfect system for party games. I play a lot of, and this isn't exclusive games, but like Jackbox games. But I guess as an exclusive Mario Party, I thoroughly enjoy that game. Every time I hang out with friends, I play Mario Party here, and we always have an insane amount of fun playing it. And I love that game. I just love how open that game is with not only playing with family and playing party games and stuff to playing single player games. Never really played multiplayer games, probably never will. I mostly got the Switch for its single player and family or friends party fun. That's what I love about the Switch. And I love how long the battery life is, especially with the one I got. I got the what they call the red box Switch, which was the upgraded one that had the increased battery life compared to the OG Switch. Um, I luckily have not been the person, and this is a positive for me. I'll keep the negative for later for other people out there. I haven't had any joystick drift other than Mike here trying to scare me and make me think I had joystick drift.
Dude, it was
Um, uh,
effed, man. It was all messed up, and
uh,
I was convinced. Stupid
I was
Mario
scared.
Kart.
I was like,
I hate that setting, by the
oh
way.
no.
Why would it default to that? That's its dumbass setting.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, you're fine. And I mean, yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say about it. The system is just super cool and very versatile. I also like how they were smart enough to implement the how you could take off the Joy Cons and make it into two different controllers. I feel like that's such a feature, like a small feature that people don't really talk about a lot, but I love that. It's like they literally had two controllers and one system, and I love that because like there's a lot of games, like for example, I know it's not may not be super comfy, but it's awesome that like for example, if you have Mario Kart, like I've done this with Amy a few times actually, and I love this. It was super cool. Is the fact that like I was like hanging out at my parents' house and we're waiting for someone like, hey Amy, do you want to play a round of Mario Kart real quick? And she's like, yeah. Bam, pulled out my Switch, put the stand down. Stand sucks, but stand still works good enough. And we pull out the Joy Cons. I gave her one. I had one. We're just playing Mario Kart together, co-op, right there on the table, not even having to do anything like that. That still is the coolest thing, like ever, out of any system I've ever played. I love that. I'm a big co-op advocate about video games. I've always have been. I always like playing with people in games. So having games to play with people, I thoroughly almost enjoy those more than a single player game. I do enjoy single player games a lot, but that's what Switch is so great. Switch is like the biggest system to really push cooperation with people. And it is probably the only system out of the three that literally pushed that the most. And I love the Switch for that reason too. But I think that would probably be the end of my list of big positives. I would say for the Switch, you know. Oh, and I think the graphics for most of their games are beautiful, and the way that the developers have done a great job with the hardware that they have, coming out with these super incredible games, not only graphically but gameplay wise. So yeah, how about you, Mike?
Well, I mean, I think my opinions mirror most of what you had to say. I want to focus more on, again, something that you already talked about is I think the success of the Switch is the same reason why most of their consoles have been successful, and one have, well, sorry, where most of their consoles have been successful, only one failed, and that is the software. As you said, the games are absolutely incredible. We've gotten some of the best Nintendo games of all time. Now, I'm not saying they're the best, but I think we've got the best Zelda game. I know there's a big argument to be had for, Ocarina of Time and its importance, but I think Breath of the Wild is better than Ocarina of Time. I think we've gotten probably the second best Super Mario game. Just recently we got what is definitively the best Kirby game. I think we got the best Mario Kart game. Obviously the best Smash Brothers game, bar none. Haven't got a good Donkey Kong game yet. That's really disappointing. We've gotten a couple ports, but I want a really, really, really good Donkey Kong game. I used to love those things. Tropical Freeze, oh shit, was so good. I think the list goes on. I mean, Splatoon debuted on the Wii U, so that's probably. But it's probably Splatoon is probably Nintendo's best online multiplayer game. And I think it's so on and so forth. So I want to give that credit there because I'm not as high on the hardware as probably 99.9% of the people out there because I just don't care about gaming on the go. I don't do it that much. Very rarely do I ever do it. Very rarely do I ever find myself wanting to do it. If I'm out of my house, I'm usually doing something. I'm at the gym, I'm going to dinner, I'm going to a movie. I'm just going for a walk or, something like that. Or I'm driving somewhere to go to someone's house. Like, very rarely do I ever find myself in a position where I was like, man, I really wish I had my Switch here right now. That's just not how I do things. Now, on that is a very personal opinion. I think it's great how, I guess, pliable the Switch is. Not obviously in terms of physicalness, but like as you were talking about, you can take the controllers off. You can put it in someone else's dock, and now you're playing your Switch on someone else's dock. The kickstand, albeit it's absolutely terrible. It's you can technically use it. I said if you're sitting in a doctor's office and you want to be that weird dude that's playing Pokemon game at 30 years old in the doctor's office, you can do that. So I want to give the credit there where credit is due. It is a marvel of technology. It's just not for me, really. I just don't play mobile games that much. Not since probably the Nintendo DS. And even when I used to play the DS, I never really played it anywhere. I just played the DS in my house. I've never really been a gaming on the go type of guy. It's not how I play. It's not how I want to play because I am a homebody and I spend most of my life in my house if I'm not out doing something. But the video games and the games you get to play on here are some of the best Nintendo's ever done. And it says, I think the only console they truly failed on was the Wii U, which I will not say it failed because of the hardware or the games, because the games are actually really, really good on Wii U. Most of the games have been ported over now, so we have those games on Switch. But the reason the Wii U failed was because of marketing. Nintendo had no clue how to market that game, that console, and no one knew what that console was to begin with because of the marketing. So I know that's kind of redundant in what you said, Logan, but the Switch is great because it's the Switch. So, but what are some things You know what? I want to start off. Some things that need to get better. Some things that need to improve. Can we please, for the love of God, Nintendo, get an achievement system? Please. Wait, really? You got nothing to say to that, dude?
Oh, I thought you were. I wasn't gonna cut you off.
Oh no, I figured you would
Uh,
comment on it.
oh, I was waiting until you were done with your list, and then I was gonna go on to mine.
Oh well, I want to
But
go back and forth because the redundancy is there.
okay,
So if I say something that you want to talk about, or vice versa, let's just talk about it. Because like I play games, one to enjoy them first and foremost, but the achievements heighten my enjoyment. It does not identify my enjoyment. Like I do not enjoy a game because it has achievements. I can enjoy a game more because of the achievements are fun to get or interesting to do, and it'll make me play a game more. Perfect example I have is if there was a platinum trophy, quote unquote, for Pokemon games, I would get that platinum trophy every single time. There's not, so I play those games for however long I want to play them, and once I get semi bored, I fall out because there's nothing metaphysical that's pushing me to finish these games other than my own self-interest. So I rarely ever play Nintendo games longer than, 50, 60 hours. You know, I rarely ever play longer than that because I'm in, I'm out, I know what the game is, and I leave it. Like for example, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, man. I love that game so much, but I played it once, I got my story, and I was out. If that game had like achievement for like, play through the game getting all three, well, I guess technically all four story outlines, and you get achievement for finishing each one of those. I would have played that game through 4 times. Well, technically 3.5 times because there's some save scumming that you can do with it to get one of the other storylines. But I would have played through that game endlessly. I would have put way more than the 60 hours that I put into it, or 55, whatever it is. I would have put 100, 150, because I love that game so much and it's super interesting to be in the world. But once I play through a game and I beat it, I'm done with it. I move on to the next thing, unless there's something bringing me to it more, unless there's something pushing me more. You honestly think, Logan, I would have played Avengers for 300 plus hours if I wasn't trying to get that platinum?
for you, no.
No.
Which I have a point to bring up whenever
Oh, I'm
you're
sure
done.
there's arguments to be made against this. I mean, obviously, I'm a certain type of gamer that I care about these type of things. A lot of other people who don't give a flying about trophies or achievements or anything. One of them I'm talking to right in the same Discord as me. But for me, that is something that I care about and will push me to play games longer and play games more. Your turn, sir.
Okay. So I'm not gonna say that adding an achievement is a bad thing. I know I don't care. I literally couldn't give two shits if I got the gold, platinum, whatever. I mostly just go off of did I beat the game? Did I enjoy the game? Then I'm good. And I had fun. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have trophies or to aim for trophies. Everyone has their own enjoyment on how they beat games and how they, they do how they complete the games and et cetera, et cetera. I do think it would be a good addition to add achievements in that. I mean, a lot of platforms do that now. I mean, even Steam has achievements that you can get. And I think achievements are a good thing for the people that like that stuff. And I'm not gonna say I think it's a good addition. And I think it'd be good for the people that enjoy that stuff. I obviously could care less. They never had a trophy achievement list. I literally wouldn't care because I mean I don't ever go for trophies. There's only been like a few games ever in my life that I was like pretty close to getting it, so I ended up doing all the trophies or all the achievements. But other than that, I never ever focus on those. Like I may occasionally go on there and be like, oh, I did that many trophies. That's cool. Well, time to move on to the next game. But that doesn't mean that trophies and achievements don't add something to a game. So, um, I mean, I agree. I think it'd be a cool little addition. And maybe the next Switch they'll add trophies or achievements. I'm not sure,
No, they're
but
not.
either way,
They're not gonna do.
I know personally, I could care less. But
Based off
yeah,
statements that some of the creators have made, is like we would rather build games that have internal reasons to keeping you to play than builds a game that has an external reason for keeping you play. I believe that was a quote from the guy who created Mario, whose name I should remember, but I don't. He said that he goes, I'd rather put things in the game to make you play them than to put things outside the game to make you play them, which is a confusing statement because it's like they're both a part of the game. Like trophies are built into the PlayStation ecosystem. That's something that's a part of the game development. But I think he's more referring to like the 700 Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild that are fucking
Yeah.
pointless because you don't get anything from them that's worth the time. To be fair, not even a platinum trophy would be worth the
But
time.
don't you get to upgrade stuff? You get to upgrade your weapon stuff with
No,
it.
it's something. No, it is not worth the time. I don't even think you get anything. I think you get a congratulations. Hold on. Korok seed reward. Yeah, you will get the gift of friendship, which is.
That's yeah.
Hold on.
That's sad.
Hold on. The fuck is it? Well, you can keep talking while I look for this.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah. I know I watched a certain YouTuber that does a lot of completing things, a completionist, and he did it, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, he was very disappointed at what you got after completing all that.
Yeah, it says.
But that's why I've never been into the whole completing thing because I never feel like most of the things that you get from things like, for example, Ghost of Tsushima, I'll probably never fully complete everything in that game.
Oh, it's so good, man.
But I thought the armor you got at the end was not. So I was like, I
I
don't really.
loved it.
But that is subjective. Some people
Yeah.
thoroughly love that armor and they would willing to, put in that time, which is fine.
Well, I
But
liked the
yeah.
armor. I did not do that because of the armor. I did it because of the platinum trophy. The armor is something I got
Well, yeah.
second. Also, Hestu's gift was what you get for completing, by the way, all 900 Korok seeds, not 700. It serves no
Jeez.
purpose. However, you can visit him at any time to see him dance. So there you go, Nintendo. There's your reward. There's your built-in game reward for doing everything. I'd rather get a fucking trophy for it.
Well, what do you get if you get all the things in Mario? Let's see.
The stars? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you
don't
just
know
get
if
100% completion.
Oh. That's fair, I guess. But
Oh,
what's your next disappointment?
Power moves. Oh,
Power move, yeah.
it's online capabilities.
Oh, okay.
Online capabilities suck. This thing doesn't even have a party chat. You have to use a phone or
Yeah, phones use or in all the commercials, it's people using like FaceTime. And
yeah.
like they don't even advertise their own online features. They're literally having people play with each other, but they're all like on different online.
I mean, I guess
chats
now
and stuff.
modern days, I could be at my desk and we could be playing like on Discord or something like that. And I can have that hooked up. But again, there still is not an internal way to talk to your friends.
Yeah.
In 2022. What? How? How is that not something that you've looked at and been like, yo, we got to figure this out? Like, this has got to be something that we got to do. Because, like, yeah, there's ways around it. And in fact, there's pretty easy ways around it. Again, Discord, phone chats, whatever. But how is there not an internal built-in function of a modern-day video game console that allows you to talk to your friends online? I think it's a huge negative. That's more than achievements. Achievements is just something that I want. I think the lack of online features in party chat and anything resembling interactivity with your friends online is a huge overall negative for the console itself, not just my own personal opinion.
I agree with that because, like, literally, especially since they are now pushing more than ever for online gameplay, and yet there is still no way. Like, yeah, you could have a different chat, but sometimes you have headphones and you're listening to the game you're playing. If you can't talk to someone and listen to your game at the same time, there's a problem there. Like, it is 2022 right now, and yet still there is no party chat. Like, that's all you need. You just need a party chat where you can listen to your game and talk to your friends at the same time, not have no head. Like, what if people that like to listen to headphones, they can't do that now? Like, you literally have to, if you want to talk to someone, you have to have your phone out, and you're going to talk to them, and then you can't wear headphones to listen to the game that you're playing. I don't know. I do think that is kind of a bad feature that they do need to add in. Like, I don't get how. I mean, obviously, I do get it. Nintendo is always behind on everything. I mean, heck, they finally just added Bluetooth features to their device within what was it, last year? Yeah, it was last year. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, they need to add party chat, and like, it's bad that they still have not added that.
Well, I got a couple more, but I don't want you to keep reacting to me. So why don't you give me something that you want better?
Um, let's see. I guess I can't really think of much right now that really I would really want more from the Switch. I guess the one thing that we obviously is more just like, and this is one of our topics later on, but or like one of our bullet points. Uh, I guess it's more just like the only thing I really want is a better Switch,
Yeah.
a more powerful Switch, one that can actually run their mainline games better. Like that's a negative, I guess. Now that I could bring up is the fact that like the more and more throughout the years of the Switch, the more and more they start coming out these games that don't even run properly or are having a lot of graphical issues because of the lack of power. And you can clearly see that they need an upgrade badly for the
Oh,
Switch.
dude,
Like not
Arceus.
like it,
Arceus is awful, man.
yeah, like that's what I mean. Like it's fine that like a third party game can't run it. Okay, that's fine. But if even if your first party games can't even run properly on your Switch, then there's a problem. Because your first party games are supposed to run amazing on there. It's aimed specifically towards your hardware, and it doesn't run well, and it has all these issues. That means you have a problem. That means you are evolving too quickly in your games, but not having enough power to meet up with those evolutions to what you're trying to do.
I mean, it's something
So
that Nintendo's always been behind on.
yeah,
Um, not visual um gameplay. Or sorry, not visuals because the artists and everything at Nintendo are phenomenal. It's the graphical performance and hardware capabilities have always been massively behind. The only time that it wasn't was GameCube. GameCube was
yeah,
stronger than the PS2 and about a little bit less strong than the Xbox, but also the Xbox came out a year after, so it had different things. Um, so that was the only time that Nintendo actually had what could arguably be considered one of, if not the most powerful console on the market. And then they got away from that for some reason. I don't really know why, because you think the next console they came out with was the Wii.
yeah.
You know,
And I don't even remember how much more powerful that was from the GameCube,
I don't
to
think it
be
was.
honest.
The Wii ran at 480, my man.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so it was kind of the same.
And I'm pretty sure the Wii U didn't the Wii U run at like 720p.
No, the Wii U was a 1080p console, but it came
Oh, it
out.
was.
It
Oh,
came, it came out in 2012.
that's fair. Well,
Yeah.
but I mean, with how Nintendo's behind, I didn't know. I didn't know if they were still in the 720p days.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
mean, you think 1080p was late PS3 time?
yeah,
Late PS3, because like the early games are like 720, 900, all that, but we really reached 1080p in the late PS3 generation. And obviously PS4 and all that was heavy, but like you look at the Wii U, you look at a game in the Wii U, and then you look at I don't know, Infamous Second Son, a launch game for the PS4, or Killzone Shadowfall. Like those consoles came out at the same time, and there is a significant difference in terms of quality.
yeah, yeah. They,
But do you think it's
they,
important, graphical performance? Because it hasn't been yet. It's hurt them a couple times, and the Switch really is their big winning console. Like, people forget, while Nintendo's an incredibly successful video game studio, they rarely ever are top dog. They're really good, and the consoles always sell very well 50, 60, 70 millions. It wasn't until the Wii U that they broke 100, and in terms of home video consoles, the mobile market is entirely different. And now the Switch has broken 100. So the Switch is only their second $100 million console. Sorry, 100 million unit console that they've produced. So while Nintendo has never really been at the very top of the echelon in modern times, ever since the onset of PlayStation and Xbox, obviously back in the 80s they were top dog against Sega and all that. But we're finally starting to see Switch become that top dog. And, in order for them to stay there, do they need a more powerful console, or do they need to just keep maintaining status quo with who they are?
So I don't think the next Switch anyways is going to be 4K. I don't believe that, or maybe it will be. Maybe it'll be a 1440p. Maybe it'll hit in the middle ground. I The only thing that I have a problem with is the fact that the Switch, when it first came out, all their games, they were nailing it. Perfect, like, resolution and frame rates were good. I mean, even like for example, Mario Odyssey runs amazing. Smash Bros 1080p 60 FPS, amazing. Like a
Mario Kart
lot of their
8.
games. What Yeah, Mario Kart 8 1080p 60, and that game looks phenomenal even still to this day with its art design. um I don't expect them to ever, I think the only things that's an issue is the fact that if you're going to keep a quality, or you're going to aim for a quality, then stick with that. But if your games start to lose that quality, then there's a problem. I'm not ever expecting them to ever get to the levels of graphical to like the PS5 and Series X, but I am also expecting them to keep up with their quality on art design and at least good frame rates, not like for example that new Zelda game that came out, that's like whatever, the Dynasty Warrior type game. Hyrule Warriors, I think that's what it's called. That game runs like dog, like it runs like 20 FPS. It's absolutely like that, in my opinion. That is unplayable. That is unplayable. That is not in any way. The point of playing a Nintendo game is it's enjoyable to play. The gameplay is fun. If the gameplay is not fun, then it's not a fun game. Is obviously, like, it's just not. I can't. I literally tried the demo, and I was like, this is literally annoying. Like, it was so bad, and like that's where it starts to become a problem, because like I never expect them to go super high textures and 4K and all this. But the thing that all Nintendo games are really good at is their art design, which goes on to the same for like Elden Ring. Elden Ring isn't a very up to today's standards, but the art design is so good that it's amazing. And I think art design is what really pushes a game forward, and that's what Nintendo's really good at. Their art design. Their art design is always phenomenal, and it helps me. Like, I never really think about what the graphics are, what the resolution is. I'm more looking at what they made, and it's great, and the game runs good. I'm not expecting every game to run at 60 FPS, but at least hit 30. Like, that's the standard. That is the standard. You hit 30, you're good. But their games can't even run 30, and some of them run all the way down to 20. Like, that's not playable. That's not a good game at that point. You're playing like a slideshow almost at that point. That's gross. Like, that's not fun. So I think the biggest thing they need to upgrade is, yeah, it would be great if they could upgrade the resolution a little bit, like hit 1440p. Doesn't need to be 4K. They could keep the Switch screen still at 720p. I wouldn't complain, because 720p screen looks really good in handheld form. If you upgrade it to 4K, I would not be able to really tell that big of a difference. It's already such a tiny screen and condensed with all the pixels that it looks super crisp even at 720p. Because also 720p helps with the battery life too. But I just want a new upgraded, more powerful Switch, but it doesn't need to be a 4K 60 powerhouse. I would be fine with a 1440p, and then what games you can get run at 60, run at 60, and the games that hit 30 need to hit 30. And that's what I want if they upgrade. And then obviously, they can keep with this OLED thing. I'd be sick. I would get the next, if the Switch 2 had an OLED, that'd be awesome. But yeah. I think that's what I want from Nintendo if they upgrade to the next Switch 2 or Switch Pro.
I honestly just I want 1080p stable 60.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Like, I mean,
even
that'd
or
be sick if
even
we can get
even
60 on every game.
if we're sticking at 1080p with modern day mobile chips, because we're pretty sure the next Nintendo console is going to be an iteration on the Switch and in style. So we can probably say that it's gonna be run on a mobile chip.
Yeah,
So
well,
we have to keep what
cut in real quick.
what.
Um, they actually are partnered with Nvidia on their next Switch, which means
Well,
that they are
they have
so they're
Nvidia in
gonna
their current Switch.
what?
They have an Nvidia
I
chip in their
know, but
current
what I
Switch.
mean is they're upgrading to a more current version of Nvidia with the next Switch, which means they are going to be implementing the DLSS system into their next console. That is obviously leaked, but there are a lot of stories and a lot of connections with Nvidia and the partnership, and also the push for DLSS to be a new feature that they're going to be pushing into the new Switch, which I think is a brilliant idea, which would help with their games running a lot more smoother, which maybe will also mean a lot more games will be running at 60 FPS, hopefully, with whatever upgraded chip that they put in there and whatever new additions they add in. Um, I think it's a brilliant idea, and I mean, obviously, I would love every game to run at 60 because now that I have a taste of what 60 FPS is, I enjoy it a lot. But I don't expect every game to be at 60 FPS. At least if they can hit the status quo of 30, I can get past it. But if it gets under 30 FPS, then it starts to be borderline, in my opinion, unplayable. It is just gross.
So let me ask
What do
you.
you guys say?
Well, I was gonna say like, if they want to stick with 1080p, what do you think about 90 FPS?
I mean, that would work, but I don't know if they would even go that far. I think they would more just 60 and stick with that.
That's true. I don't even know if they can get to 60. But a new modern day
Yeah, I mean, they can
chipset,
barely even hit 60 now, so.
yeah, a new modern day chipset, I think is what I want. I wouldn't, I'm keeping my expectations are once a little low because yeah, so 1080p 60 stable throughout the entirety of its lifespan. So I want this thing to be powerful enough to be able to run these games for years at 1080p 60. Because like as you said, when Switch first came out, yeah, it was 1080p 60. Nintendo's got to be able to look ahead and see what improvements are going to come in the video games. Talk to the developers. Say, where do you want to take your games? What do you want to do with your games? And how do we get you there? How do we build something or make something that helps you make the games that you want to make? I don't think that's something that Nintendo does a lot. They don't really talk to the developers too much, at least from what I've heard and what I've read. They're pretty much you make this game and make it run somehow. Instead of,
Yeah.
hey, what game do you want to make and how can we make a piece of hardware that helps you get to that and helps you make that game? Now, maybe they do. Maybe, what I've heard is wrong. It could be completely wrong. But real quick, I want to ask you, though. What do you think we get next? Switch 2 or Switch Pro?
That's a really difficult decision. I don't know. Like, the
I
thing
think it's
is,
very easy, honestly.
I think it's a Switch Pro.
Oh, no, hell no.
Switch 2, well,
History
I don't know.
says
It's such a
Nintendo.
weird thing of their history, dude. They go weird. They go, I
Not
mean,
really.
well,
Name one
really?
time that Nintendo has ever came out with a upgraded console mid-generation. It's never happened.
The 3DS,
Okay,
new,
3DS is a different console. 3DS is a different console from the.
DSi.
That's an iteration, just like the Switch that we came out with was only
OLED,
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an iteration. Very rarely, I think maybe one thing happened. I think the original no, because all the DS lines are just iterations as well. I mean, the Wii U had an iteration where it got more storage. The Wii had an iteration that it just made it smaller. It was like the Wii Slim. And Nintendo has never
Yeah.
put out a mid-generation upgrade ever.
Oh, yeah, that's
As
fair.
far as my knowledge goes, there may be one outcase that I can't think of right now, but NES, SNES, SNES, 64, 64, GameCube, GameCube Wii, Wii U, Switch. There's never been a PS4 Pro, or there's never been a Wii U Pro. They've never upgraded their power mid-generation. So I think very easily the next thing we get is Switch 2.
I wonder if they're going to call it Switch 2 or they're going to call
Probably
it
not,
something
but
else.
I have no fucking clue. As long as they don't call it the Switch U.
Oh, no, please. Please, no.
God, that was the worst. That
Um,
was the worst name ever, dude.
yeah.
That's just. It's almost as bad as Xbox. Well,
Oh, goodness.
no, Xbox is
Um,
a phenomenal name.
I'm just curious. Yeah, I'm curious where they're gonna go with the next one. All I know is they definitely are keeping the same vein. Like I know they would
Oh yeah,
because the
it's
Switch is
going.
such a popular thing,
Yeah,
and literally, I don't think they've made something so unique and so cool ever before.
here's
And
one.
this thing is so unique and so cool that I don't think they could switch back to
Yeah.
anything else. Haha, get it, Switch. But
It's going to be a hybrid console. I don't think they can't not do, but well, oh my god, sentence. I don't think they can't not make a hybrid console. But one thing I did want to propose to you is something that I've always wanted the Switch to do, but it's never going to do it. I want a home console only version of the Switch. I want a TV set box set. Well, that was not what I wanted to say. I wanted a TV stand set that I just put there. Very similar to the way they made a mobile only version of the Switch. Do you think we'll ever see a home console version of the Switch? Because a lot of the arguments that I've heard have said, well, no, it doesn't go with the core ideology of the Switch. I was like, well, neither does the mobile only version. But they made that.
well, it's called the Switch Lite
Well, yes,
because
but it's not
yeah,
capable to go onto a TV, so I call it the mobile only version.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I will agree that is a weird thing that they did was the Switch Lite was like they didn't like in my opinion, the Switch name is literally what the whole point of it is called. The Switch, like you could, switch it from TV to mobile, and also like with the whole Joy-Con removal and that's all gone from the Switch Lite. Um, I don't think they would really. I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's as much of an audience for the home only version
oh,
of
I
the
think there's
Switch than
very
there
little, if
is a
any. Yeah,
mobile.
yeah.
Or
There's very few people
because
that are like me out there.
yeah, well, specifically with the Switch,
Yeah.
obviously. So yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. One thing I also thought of was like,
Especially for, like, a lot of people like Animal Crossing, and then I don't think a lot of people play Animal Crossing on TV. I've done it, but I know a lot of
here's
people don't.
here's another question, which with the next Switch, the upgraded Switch, whatever it be, whatever it may be, Switch 2, Switch Pro, Switch U, whatever they come out with. Here's an idea that I think they could do. Instead of just upscaling it docked, 'cause that's all the dock is, it's just an upscaler. What would you say to maybe spending a little bit more money and putting an own, maybe a different chip in the dock itself, so when you plug it in, it's capable of putting out maybe not 4K, but maybe a little bit more higher def than we're talking about, since a small screen doesn't need that. A small screen doesn't need anything more than 720 to look good.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's what
mean, it
I'm saying,
doesn't
like, I
need
think
that.
I think I think the screen, they should stick with 720p unless they can because I don't know how technology works, and I don't know how much of obviously, I didn't believe a lot of things could exist that exist today, but I mean, maybe they could put a 1080p thing, but I really don't think they need it.
Well, we're
Like
talking
in my
about.
opinion, when I look at the Switch screen and I see 720p, I don't look at it and see this is 720p. It looks super sharp
Well, yeah,
on
because
the mobile, like on the screen itself. Even on the OLED, when I looked at when I was at Target, it looks super good with a big screen. So
yeah,
I don't really
because
think they need to upgrade it because of the battery life. But yeah, like a 1080p, if they could do it, they could. But I mean, I feel like that's just a
oh,
what? Oh yeah, and then
or
also,
just it just cut off. You just stopped talking mid sentence.
really,
Yeah,
wait, what did I
no.
say last?
You were talking about you were just like it was literally like 5 seconds of cut out. It's no big deal. Uh,
Oh well, I was just saying basically, I just don't, yeah, I don't believe they would need to upgrade from 720p. If they want to, they can. I think personally that'd be a waste of battery. I'd rather than
oh
focusing
yeah,
on a bigger battery life and keeping it at 720p, maybe putting an OLED in the next one as a standard. That would look sick. And bigger screen. That's literally all I ask for is just a bigger screen. But and then with the dock, I think what they should try to do if let's say yeah they put that chip in there that you said. I think they should try to upscale it to at least 1440p. I think 1440p is the perfect middle ground between 1080p and obviously 4K. And 1440p looks much better on a 4K display than 1080p does. So I think
well, I'm not
that's
talking
what I
about I'm not talking about just upscaling 'cause that's what the dock does. I'm talking about like
yeah
actually taking power. No, how do I want to phrase that? essentially the dock runs as a separate console. When you plug it in, it's not just an adapter, which is pretty much what it is now. It's an HDMI adapter. That's what the dock is that upscales it. I would
Yeah.
rather the dock run as a upscaled console, or not upscaled, as a more increased power console. But that's a lot of production behind something like that. I don't know what they could do for that.
Yeah, I'd be curious on what they would how they would do that. But if they could do it, and heck, who knows? I mean, technology's crazy nowadays where things that I didn't believe would exist today. So I it could be a possibility. But I do think, yeah, I mean, as I said, I think 1440p should be their next aim for TV at least. TV display. I
All
don't
right.
want anything I don't think they need anything higher than 720p for their, you know, on the go switch.
All right. So, with us talking about all this and everything, Logan thinks the Switch Pro's next. I'm almost convinced the Switch 2 is next.
I was more with Switch Pro the name. I didn't think Switch 2 would be the name. That's why I was going for Switch Pro.
Oh. Well, no, I
Yeah.
said, oh my God. I think the next thing we get is the next Switch, the next console from them. I don't think we get a Pro edition or Pro version of this console at all.
How mad would you be if it was called New Switch?
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at all because Nintendo. I think it was our other friend Logan and I were having a conversation and we were theorizing how they came up with the name Wii U. And this is what I theorized. I'm like, all right, you got all these Japanese dudes sitting in Nintendo headquarters, right? And they were trying to brainstorm names for the new console. And an ambulance drove by. And this dude was like, Wii U, Wii U. That's it right there. That's
That's the name.
That's how they came up with the name for Wii U. It was just an ambulance driving by that sparked the idea. They're like, yeah, no one will get this confused with the current console that has the exact same name. No one at all. So yeah, an ambulance is the blame for the naming scheme
The
of the
Wii U
Wii
name.
U. So what I was getting ready to go into was when do we get it? Give me a date of when we get this. When the fuck is my mouse? There it is.
I could probably give you a year. I don't know about a date.
Okay, well, general
Well,
time frame.
I could probably give you a month and a year.
Yeah, just throw out a month and a year. Just challenge yourself. It doesn't have to be
Okay.
right or wrong. Nothing's on the line here.
So if I had to really think where they're going and how their sales are going and what they've been doing, I give it the next 2 years. I would say October of 2024. Um, because they're still selling like no tomorrow right now. I'm sure they want to hit at least second place and say and top console sales. And then when they do that, I I think that's when they're going to finally start to move on to revealing what the new Switch is going to be, if it even is going to be called a Switch. So I think that's what they're going to probably do. And then I don't know what they're gonna. They'll probably come out with that Metroid game as one of the release games, and then something else. But yeah, that's what I believe. I think it's 2024. I don't think it's coming out this year. Obviously, I 100% know it's not coming out this year. Next year, I really don't believe it's coming out either. And then 2024, I feel like would be the perfect time. 'Cause that'd be the perfect amount of time from the release of Switch coming out to the next one. What do you think?
I think there were 5 years in between GameCube and Wii. 5 years in between Wii U and Switch, and 6 years in between Wii and Wii U. I think the extra years because the Wii U was so successful, but we saw a more swift die out of the Wii U than we are seeing with the Switch. So I'm going to say March of 2024. Only because the Switch came out in March of 2017. And I think they want to stick with that. And also, I think they want to avoid the November of 2024 because that's when we're getting the next generation of PlayStation and Xbox.
What do you mean? Like,
We're getting the updated consoles in November of 2024, I believe, unless PlayStation stays what the rumor is, because there hasn't really been a rumor of an upgraded Xbox, at least from what we'll get it, but everyone knows the PS5 Pro is in the works. There's people out there that have actually seen the specs and have worked on the specs and everything, and have worked on the build that have talked about it. Unless they want to stick with the 3 years and we get PS5 Pro in November of 2028. Well, I mean, what the fuck? 2023. Because that would be along the same lines that we got the PS4 Pro as compared to PS4. But I think with the struggling in the sales, Sony's going to want to try to fix that and distance themselves first to really hammer down and see where their ability is to not just produce these consoles, to deliver those consoles. But theoretically, you hope it's much better by next year. But
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I feel like
really
Sony wants to put out the Pro console next year. They may not be able to, so they may push it back. But then you look into like console generations last 6 to 7 years, 8 at the very top. 8 was the PS3 to Xbox 360, but that was because the recession of 2009 caused those consoles to extend themselves by 1 year because the companies didn't have the money to produce a brand new console. They had to recover from that recession. And barring another recession, which who knows, that could happen fucking next Tuesday at this point. I have no clue. But barring another economic collapse, I think 6-7 years is when we see PS6, Xbox, whatever they call the next one, because no one knows. I think that's when we see that. So that's the only reason why I think maybe they really do want to get it out in 2023. So my original prediction was Switch comes out in 2023. Switch 2 comes out in 2023 because we've been hearing so much about it. And while the sales are still good, they're slowing down a little bit. Not marginally. I mean, it's still beating PS5 and Xbox Series consoles, but that's mostly because no one can fucking find those things. So
that's why I don't agree with it coming out with a Pro anytime soon, because like they still can't even get the production right for both Xbox and PlayStation. If they come out with the Pro, people will be like, "Oh, that's great! Another system that they're not going to be able to get out to the stores. Like that's great." Like I don't know. I feel like that's
actually,
not coming until like 2025.
The production of a Pro would actually make it easier to produce other consoles because the way that chip manufacturing works, the higher end chips manufacture slower. So if they start manufacturing higher end chips through their partners, the lower end stuff will actually be easier to produce. I know that sounds counterproductive, but you can look up chip production and how it works, and that's actually how it works. So Sony may be trying to push out this Pro so to force the factories to be able to produce higher end chips, which will make the lower ones and the parts less desirable, which will make it easier to produce.
Yeah, but I mean, we can't even get chip production now.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We always are having constant chip shortages.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, that may be one of Sony's ways that they're trying to figure out. And Xbox is probably talking the same thing and doing the same things. We just don't hear much of what they have going on. You know, with the introduction of a more powerful, more in-demand chip, the less powerful ones, the parts will actually get easier to produce and less expensive to produce, which will make them be able to produce them faster in a way. It sounds convoluted, and I may be explaining it in a very poor way, but I can send you an article if you want me to. Don't know if you care that much about it.
But again, another reason why I don't believe a Pro is coming in the next 2 years is also because we still have games being pushed towards the last generation, and the last generation is still in the game. And the game usually for the Xbox and the PlayStation, they've already would have been out of the game by now. Yeah, and it would have been mostly focused on current generation where we are now. Yeah, but I think still current generation is still considered next generation because people can't even still get it. So like that's what I mean. Like,
and I think the only reason why that is because the lack of availability of both these systems. That's the only reason why we're still getting these games is because Sony says, hey, there's 120 million PS4s out there. Why would we make Horizon only available on the 20 million PS5s as opposed to 120 million PS4s? It's smart business. It really is. It's annoying because I think it's kind of holding back next gen game development to where we haven't even really seen what these consoles can do yet because they're not being pushed fully. And
which is a
I don't actually see a game on the horizon right now because I don't think God of War would push it because God of War is also being built to run on the PS4 as well. I think theoretically maybe Spider-Man 2 will be the first game that I know of that's been announced right now that is being built for PS5. So I think 2023, when that game's supposed to come out, whether it hits, God, I just realized Spider-Man is under 2 years away. That's exciting.
But yeah, that's another reason why
Sorry.
again I don't believe it's coming out because like again like not for like again I don't think a PS5 Pro or a Xbox Series X. I don't know what how they're gonna call
No,
it.
they're gonna call it XL. It's gonna be
Oh, you know what?
Xbox Series
Actually,
XL.
no, no. I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna call it Series, and then they're gonna call it with a different letter at
Yeah.
the end. So like Series Z or something like that. I don't
Series
know.
P for premium.
P premium. But
I think it'd be cool if they call it
yeah,
XL. Xbox Series XL.
that'd be pretty funny.
That'd be kind of cool. But I think they want the consoles to come out in 2023. I think they will come out in November 2024. And then that will push this generation a year longer than most generations. And we get PS4, PS6, and Xbox Next in 2028, 2029.
Yeah, I would say 2029 probably
Yeah, I think
because there's
that
like
I think the delay in production is akin to the economic crisis of the sixth, seventh generation of consoles, and it'll push all this
yeah,
back by 1 year.
which makes me wonder if Switch is also that's why the new Switch has not really been revealed about a lot because they probably know that they probably can well, but they're probably going to be using cheaper
Yeah,
parts
yeah,
and
no,
things that they can probably get a hold of, so they could
that's
probably
that's
easily, yeah,
that's much different. Yeah, no, they're not
yeah,
using any chips that are being used in. The problem with the PS5 and all that is they're using the same components and everything that are being used across all mediums of computer electronics, like graphics cards, CPU, all the chips that are being used are limited in the amount that they can have, and they're trying to spread them across all the people that want them. You know, Sony, Xbox, um, AMD, Nvidia, all these companies that are wanting these same style of chips and these same style of condensers. They're having to spread them as far as they can, which is the reason why it's slowed down. My thing is like we're getting to the point now that it's almost inexcusable, not from Sony and Xbox's and Nvidia's part, from the developers, the manufacturers, the people who make these chips. It's almost inexcusable in their parts that they can't get this shit figured out. I would have to do some more
yeah,
research in it because again, it's not Xbox's fault, it's not Sony's fault, it's not AMD's fault. It's the people who make these chips, of which none of the other ones are included. Sony buys these things, Xbox buys these things, Nvidia buys these things. Like they give them the specs to build the chips that they want, and then these companies go out and buy and build the chips. It is on them to fix this shit, and it's getting to the point now. I'm like, all right, yes, COVID still exists and all that, but we're 2 years removed. Things are coming back down. Obviously, there's still people dying, which sucks, but like we are getting back to a more normal sense of life. It is time now to move past this. Awkward silence, part three.
no, I mean I agree. I don't know what
Okay.
you want. I didn't have much to say about that. I was just kind of yeah, I mean
Okay.
it sucks where we are in gaming, and I fully believe I was one of the very lucky people to finally get a PS5, and I know I'm lucky, but I just yeah I hope that within I was hoping last year would be the big fix. No, now we got this year. I'm hoping this year is the big chance for things to get fixed and these consoles to start getting pushed out more and more. I mean, I constantly see people getting at least the Series S. Series S must be pretty easy to come out with, but like I hope that maybe hopefully by next year, at least at the beginning, all these last gen games, because a lot more games now are starting to push to just be only next gen, which is great to hear because or well current gen now, because I mean clearly it's been a couple of years now, we are in current gen, not next gen anymore. And literally they we just I can't wait till next year. I hope next year, by next year at least, all game developers have started to completely move away. Like they've all moved away from last gen, and it will now just be current gen only, and everybody will focus on. And there are a lot of games now that are doing that, and I'm happy for that. But yeah, I can't wait for that. And but I know obviously the reason why they can't, because there's not as many next gen consoles out there as there is last gen, and they can't keep up with demand. And still, there's so many delays, and people still trying to find PS5s, Series X's, a lot more Series S's from what I've been seeing lately. I mean, I constantly see people post about that all the time. But like I want to see next gen or current gen where we are to actually be out there more for people to have, so that we can start moving forward in gaming and actually have more innovations and see the true powers of what these next gen consoles can do. But yeah.
All right. Anything else you got on Nintendo? We kind of got off on a huge tangent there. But
Yeah,
that's
we
okay.
did.
That's okay. It happens. Anything else on Nintendo you want?
Nope, just can't wait to see whatever the new Switch or whatever Nintendo system it is.
Hey, Nintendo has already announced that the next Switch or the next console will come out in the 2000s.
Oh wow, sweet.
Did you see
At
that
least I know it
article?
comes with it.
They said it'll
No.
it'll come out by 20XX. We're like, oh yeah, appreciate it. So by
Thank
2100,
you.
we'll have the next thing. So thanks, Nintendo. Fucking
Sweet.
trolls.
Can't wait.
All right, well that was part of the show. Please let us know on our Patreon what you think. Oh, I guess you can say it on the YouTube video too. But let us know what you think. Are you liking your Switch? Do you have a Switch? Do you want to get a Switch? And what you think about it? What you don't like about it? Where they can improve? And just generally let us know what you think. Moving on now, we're gonna go to the review roundup for this past week. As I said, March 25th was a big day, but let's first get through some of the small games. Kraken Academy came out on Xbox Series X and S and Switch on March 22nd, and there's no critical reviews for it yet, but 331 people on Steam say very positive, so there you go. Rune Factory 5 came out on Nintendo Switch and it garnered a 69. Watched a couple of videos on this, and seems to be people who are a fan of this franchise were a little let down by this next iteration that took apparently like 11 years to make. So I could be off on that, but on March 24th, A Memoir Blue came out on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC. Again, no critical reviews, but 34 people on Steam say positive. The Ascent came out on PS5, PS4's got a 73. Relayer came out on PS5, PS4, got a 71. And Tentacular came out on PC and Oculus, got an 83. Then on March 25th, the big day, Ghostwire Tokyo came out on PS5 and PC, garnered a 76. Kirby and the Forgotten Lands came out on Nintendo Switch and it got an 85. And Tiny Tina's Wonderlands came out on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S and PC and got a 79. Logan, I know you wanted to talk about some of these, so what do you have in response?
Let's see. Tiny Tina's Wonderland. It's good to see that it got a 79. I actually watched a video on that recently, and it looks pretty interesting. It looks pretty cool. It's doing something quite a bit different than the normal Borderlands formula, where it looks interesting that you can create your own character now, and you can. The class system is way different. Obviously, there's a lot of similarities, but then also supposedly the end game for Tiny Tina's Wonderland is the best that Borderlands, or it's not Borderlands, but it is Borderlands. It's made from the same storyline. It's the best end game they've ever had or added, and the whole new system where it's like you run around a board and you have races and stuff. It's like that classic RPG like formula. I even had I'm pretty sure a joke about Pokemon, where like when you run into something, it played like a theme song. It was kind of funny. It looks really good, and it's actually a game I really want to. I don't know when, but maybe when it's either on sale or I have the money. I would like to play this game with you. It'd be really fun. I actually really want to play Tiny Tina's Wonderland. It looks really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've been excited about it since I love Borderlands. I love the style. I love just the fun, chaotic FPS gameplay. So, yeah, whenever you decide to get it, let me know and I will get it. I'm not gonna buy it by myself, but
Oh yeah,
whenever
I don't blame you.
whenever it comes to, it's only like 20 hours apparently, the story, so it's actually shorter than most Borderlands games we played, but there is a big post game content to it. But I am 100% ready to play this game with you.
And then the other games, I'm not a Kirby fan, but happy to see that it got a really good score.
I mean, it looks cool as
Kirby
shit.
fans, I'm sure for the Kirby fans are really excited. I mean, it looks cool, but I don't think I'd ever play it. And the Ghostwire Tokyo, um, actually, I kind of believe that score. That score is about what I would think. Um, that game looks interesting. Been watching some videos on it to see what it's all about. Yeah, I don't know. From what I've heard, the way it plays on console isn't the greatest, but on PC it plays a little bit better. Something with the fact that the first person controls just don't feel right. From what I've heard, they're very like delayed and slow, and people think like it almost feels like there's an isn't. It's just the way that they do the animations and everything.
Yeah, I've heard the
It
game
it
feels
just doesn't.
choppy. And if
Yeah,
you play this game on its quality mode, which is 30 FPS, then it feels very choppy. So for those of you that are playing it, please play
yeah.
in performance mode. Honestly, play every game in performance mode. You'll realize 60 frames is the way to go. Um,
Even with the
everything,
resolution drop, I could take it. I would rather
everything.
60 FPS.
Honestly, it's while you can tell a difference between 1440p and 2160p, it's not
Oh
that big
yeah,
a
no, you can't.
difference.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
No, I mean, you can, especially on like a 65 inch that I play with. You can tell the resolution difference. You can see the artifacting and all that. But just, just try to, I don't know. I can see it and I realize it's there. I don't care because 60 frames is impossible to not play in anymore. So just play
Other than
on.
that, the only other. Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
sorry,
No,
didn't mean to
no,
cut you
no, no.
off.
You're fine. You didn't really cut me off. I was rambling.
Oh, the only other thing that looked pretty funny and interesting was that Tentacular. That was came out in the Oculus, so it's pretty funny. Looks like a it's kind of got that Untitled Goose Game kind of vibe where it's literally like I mean you're like a tentacle monster, but instead of destroying the city, you're trying to help the people. Looked kind of funny. Looked pretty interesting. Um, but maybe that'll be a game I'll try out down the line because I've been really getting into VR. But I would say that's pretty much it for last week that really interested me. The only game that really I was excited for was Tiny Tina's. That was the only game I was seriously interested in and was curious about what it was like, if it was good or not. And it seems like it's pretty good. I mean, it's hit 79, weirdly enough, close to
Yeah, I
an
mean,
80.
yeah.
But still super good. And uh, I mean, it's probably better than Borderlands 3 story, hopefully. 'Cause Borderlands 3 story was crap. I wish it was better, but it was just not good.
Ah, man,
Um,
it's hard to stand up to Borderlands 2 story though. Borderlands 2 story is
oh,
so
that's
good.
true.
God, it's
But
such a
yeah,
good campaign. But yeah, from what I hear, good story, much better than Borderlands 3 overall in terms of just general game things. And that's coming from someone who actually liked Borderlands 3 a lot. So, um, I'm excited to see Ghostwire Tokyo. I'm not gonna play it. I know, exclusive PS5 game, man. I'm not supporting it, but I just don't like Bethesda games that much, man. Like,
well, it looks cool, but it's just the fact the way it
I mean,
plays.
I was going back in my
I don't
head.
know.
Man, I was going back in my head. I'm like, when's the last Bethesda game I truly loved and enjoyed? Probably Doom Eternal.
Yeah,
Wolfenstein 2, I was let down with. I did not play the co-op Wolfenstein because it got ripped apart everywhere. Um,
yeah, that was. Ugh.
yeah. I don't like the Far Cry games. I mean, whoop, I don't like Fallout games. I appreciate them, but it's just not my favorite style of RPG. I love Elder Scrolls games. Um, don't really play arcane games that much, so it's like, huh. Is the only thing I like is Doom, that Bethesda Doom and Elder Scrolls that Bethesda makes. I
Yeah,
kind of,
probably.
I kind of had it like, cause I thought I loved Bethesda, I really did. Okay, first of all, I love the first Wolfenstein and Old Blood. Both of those first two Wolfenstein games, incredible. I think they lost the
those are
mark
really cool.
a lot with the second Wolfenstein, and then by the time Youngblood comes out, oh dude, I don't even know what the hell happened with that one. But so maybe I'm just falling out of love with Bethesda. But I do appreciate that there's still single player driven in the focus. So anything else, my man?
Nope.
Did you play Kraken Academy at all? I know you were talking about it last week.
I don't think I wanted to play that game, did I?
We were talking about it
I
during
don't remember ever saying I wanted to play.
the Xbox Indie Showcase. You were saying it actually looks pretty interesting.
Oh no, I'm not gonna play it, but I mean it
Okay.
looked pretty interesting. Yeah.
All right. Well, coming out. Well, okay. Let's try that one again. Out this week for the month. Oh my good God, man! You want to do this one? I'm
All
kidding.
right, everybody,
No.
out this week.
For the week of March 28th through April 1st. On March 29th, Crusaders Kings 3 comes to PS5 and Xbox Series X and X. WRC, also known as World Racing Championship 10, comes out on Nintendo Switch. On March 30th, Aerial Knights Never Yield comes out on iOS and Android, so have fun with that. Death Stranding Director's Cut comes out on PC. And on March 31st, an actual big day in video games. Well, not big day, but big day for our fantasy league. Moss Book 2 comes out on PSVR, and Weird West comes out on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Pretty slow week for you guys, but March 31st is a pretty big day. I love the first Moss. I think, dude, that game is one of the best experiences in VR. It's really solid gameplay, really interesting story and world design setup, whereas you essentially are playing a god to this little mouse, and you are guiding him through his adventure. Really, really, really great game. So I'm excited about Moss Book 2, which is why I drafted it to my fantasy league. And Weird West is on DJ's fantasy league. Poor Logan still has not had a game scored yet.
About to though. Lego Star
Yeah.
Wars coming up.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
excited for that.
Dude, I'm fairly convinced. I would be crushed if this game is not in the 80s. Which again,
What?
not
Moss Book?
not disappointing. Like obviously, like we just said, 79 is fine with Tiny Tina's Wonderland, but I have let my hype level for this game go a little high. So maybe that's my fault. But if this game doesn't get like, I mean, shit, I was let down by Horizon scoring an 89. I was like, what the heck? Should be in the 90s. But my hype level for this game has gone a little off the rails. So if this game isn't in the 80s, I'm gonna be a little let down by that.
Not gonna lie, that Weird West game looks pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it looks very cool. Yeah.
It's got a very it's got that same style. It's like Borderlands with the very cartoony drawn edges and stuff. So it looks pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, it's probably scored decently for him. Man, I'll tell you what, Worthy is kicking our asses at this. He has 3 games and he's already on 62 points.
But he has not been adding anything, has he?
No, I'm kind of hoping that's gonna be his downfall.
I think it will be. I honestly don't even think he knows.
Oh, by the way, was it you that tried to pick up the Corey? Cause I got it instead.
Wow, cool guy here. How much did you spend?
10.
Yeah, that's where you beat me. I
Well,
had a feeling you were gonna go for it with
I
big money,
okay. No,
so-
see, here's the thing. I wasn't, and then obviously I looked on it Thursday just to see which games were being bidded on, and I saw it on there. I'm like, oh god damn it! I was like, I don't know if I want this or not, but I know you were trying to get it, so I was like, I let you have Marvel's Midnight Suns. You can go ahead and get it. I'm not convinced that the game's gonna score fantastic. I'm still trying to save a bunch of my spots for E3, see what comes out then. So. I'm probably not going to pick up anything unless something crazy gets announced. But the only reason I picked up the Corey is like, because I just didn't want you to have it, if I'm being honest, I was being a dick. Because like Until
Yeah, I
Dawn,
kinda seen that coming.
Until Dawn only scored in the 70s, man. So like, I'm not going to get too many points by it, I don't think. Unless it like just completely redoes their style. Yeah, Until Dawn got a 79, which again, great score. I mean, that's what Tiny Tina's just got. But I don't know if this game's going to be able to top what that game did. That game came out of nowhere and was like, here's this revolution on the Telltale genre, but with much higher values and everything.
Yeah, I had a feeling you're gonna go for it because
I
it was on there. And I seen it got revealed. I'm like, he's probably gonna go spend like 30 or like 20
no,
freaking dollars just to beat
no.
me, just so he could take it.
I saw it was on there. I'm like, hey, I'll put $10. I'm like, if Logan put more than $10, Logan can get it. So, because I knew it was you, because I knew DJ and definitely Worthy weren't paying attention to that game coming out. So,
Yeah, I
but
heard that, and we were talking. I was like, I'm putting it on. But
I wasn't going
all right,
to, and then I was like, he's. I don't want him to have both of them, so I'll let him have Midnight Suns, even though Midnight Suns will probably score better. But anyway, anything else you got, my man?
nope.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the show. Everyone who has either been watching or listening, we wanted to take this time and thank you from the bottom of our hearts, because without you, we could not do what we're trying to do here. Please help us continue to grow by telling your friends, telling your family, telling anyone who will listen to you about video games. Go listen to these guys because they know what they're doing. At least I hope you say that. If you don't like us, then please keep your mouth shut and don't tell anybody. Logan?
As always, yeah, thank you guys for stopping by and listening to the XP podcast. We always appreciate everybody that comes by and stop by. Hopefully you're having a great day. Hopefully it's not too bad of a work day, or maybe you're working out or whatever you're doing. But yeah, and as always, if you would like to comment and tell us maybe, if you're enjoying the Nintendo Switch, or if you have any other comments, make sure to comment down below on our YouTube video. And as always, if you would like to stop by, maybe give us a $1 donation on Patreon. Our Patreon will be linked down below. As always, have a great day.
Once again, thanks everyone for listening and following along with us. I hope everyone has a great week, and we'll talk to you on the next one. See you guys.
See ya.